Hey everyone, welcome to the Speakeasy Podcast. I'm your host, Bill Voigt.
And I am your second host, Kayman Hernandez.
This is episode 12.
Yeah, baby, we're back.
And we are back, and it has been a while. For a lot of you listeners, some of you on the listener string knows that we've had a busy month since Father's Day, last time we recorded.
A few months, man.
Yeah. We have had a discussion, and we're going to have our format a little different. Instead of every week, we're going to change it to probably once or twice a month.
At a minimum.
At a minimum, as long as we are diligent on our podcasting, without letting life get in the way. And we also want to bring to you a higher quality podcast with a little more flow in our conversations and a lot less of a structure in the retrospect of it's the same thing every show.
Yeah, we had a discussion between the two of us a while ago while we were talking about trying to get the episode recorded, and we kind of just decided that we felt a little restricted in our own box that we set to ourselves, and we wanted to change it up and make it more kind of free flow.
I mean, the whole point of a speakeasy, my friend, is to relax and have a gentleman's conversation.
Correct.
So I'm even going to change it up a little bit now, and we're just going to call it the gaming section. And just go right into games here, if you're ready, my friend.
I'm ready whenever you are, my guy.
So, hey, bud, what are your thoughts on the Sony killing the physical media for gaming, at least in 2028?
It's fucking weird, man, because they were so hard on pushing that shit when Xbox was doing that, like the same thing before back. I want to say like what 2012 to like 2018 or whatever, or even just later now, I guess. But like. Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird that Sony has completely like reversed themselves into this whole pigeonhole-y fucking thing.
I know.
We also forgot to say today we're recording outside on the
back porch. We're out on the back porch, the cigar area.
Yeah, we are sitting out in a nice crisp 91 degrees out here in.
Yeah, I think the weatherman said it was Satan's balls is what it was.
Yeah, something like that. But if you hear any extra noise, it's just because we're chilling outside having a good one. We figured we'd change it up and have some nice fun.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I mean, Sony, it's so weird because growing up for me...
It's so weird because Xbox is the cool kid now.
I wouldn't say that they're 100% the cool kid now.
They're definitely cooler than the other two.
They're a lot better for sure, and there's a lot of people that are a lot happier with Xbox right now, but at the same time, it's still Xbox, and we've had Microsoft run through our shit, you know, and fuck us up. So I wouldn't, at least for me and my perspective.
They're at least doing a lot more pro-customer stuff in the console market right now with the moves they're making than Sony is.
For sure.
I mean, Sony is just so anti-consumer right now. It's insane. It's all profit margins for them.
Yeah.
I mean, we talked about it before. I mean, cutting the throat of the PC market when the PC market... They obviously sell their games on the PC storefronts.
Yeah.
They make money there, but it's all about control, in my opinion.
Yeah, I mean, fuck, I remember when that was like the huge news when it first came out and everybody was talking about it, and it was so weird because I remember sitting there thinking about it, and it's like, it's crazy that I live in a day where Sony has completely flipped into this control freak.
They've never flipped. They've always done this. When Sony gets behind or has competition, that's when they're at their best when it comes to pro-consumer. But every time they have nobody around, and this is why competition is very important for anything in life, they are just like how they are. You know, I and everybody that listens to our podcast these last 11 episodes knows I'm a huge Sony fan when it comes to the PlayStation name. But they have made it very easy for me to cancel my account, like I said before, and walk away from this console market real easy. I mean, the only console I really have is my Steam Deck.
Right.
And my PC runs everything else. And I don't think I've turned my PlayStation on in 3 months.
Well, I mean, at this point, like, it's been rough because I have a few buddies that play they only have the PlayStation, right? And getting a PC in this market really fucking sucks. So it's been kind of shitty to be able to not play a whole lot of games. You're right.
I remember when I was trying to build my PC. If I didn't have your dad's help with him hooking me up with, finding the best parts for the price, and then putting software on my machine at no cost to me because he is a family friend discount.
Yeah.
I would have never gotten into that, and I think there's a lot of your dads out there that are willing to help people save some money. I mean, there's a lot of people that are willing to give up their old hardware they're not using anymore.
Yeah.
And all that. That's all it really takes. Once you get your hands on the hardware,
a few things,
you can piece up your machine, every month.
Right.
But it's the initial step into it, And
I mean, the problem that we've run into, for instance, one of my coworkers, he has the ability to have the PC, but he doesn't have RAM and graphics cards, which are two of the most expensive items right now. Does
he need DDR4 or DDR5?
I don't know.
Ask him because I have some extras.
Okay.
I will gladly, donate. And absolutely. But getting back on the topic of
Sony,
this Sony thing and the console deal, it's all about control, dude. I know I sound like a tinfoil cap guy, but what else is there a logical reason behind them killing all the physical media?
There isn't. I mean, there really isn't.
I mean, I'm going to touch on a topic on our list here, but 62% worldwide customers that have PlayStations don't have access to the PSN network.
Yeah.
So when you kill physical media for those people,
I mean, that's the only way that they can get them for the most part. Do you remember when we were talking about Helldivers? And we were talking about the controversy that had with the whole Sony PlayStation account thing, and
right.
A bunch of people got locked out of it from different countries that don't have the ability to have a Sony account or whatever. It's the same thing, just on a mass scale.
Well, the PC gamers stood up against that login too.
I know.
And right now, on Twitter especially, or X, every post that Sony makes gets ratioed and community noted.
Yep.
And gamers need to put the pressure out. I mean, I understand that these companies, in the realm of capitalism, people create an idea and they create a product.
Right.
But you have to have people that are wanting to buy that product, and that's everything in our capitalist society, right? You can make the coolest thing, and if nobody buys it, it's a paperweight. Right. Or for that one person, they can't give them away, right? And a lot of corporations, Sony included, fucking forget that the people that are their fans are the ones that they should cater to, not the other way around. We shouldn't be groveling to them and kissing their feet.
Right.
I mean, I've said this before. They didn't come out with the PS5 and give us this grand scale console for $500 at the time. It was a 2080 graphics card wrapped up in a new bun in 2020 when it came out.
Right.
I mean, it was out of date when it launched. The saving grace is that you basically give developers the dev kits, and they learn how to utilize the hardware and have really cool creative thought processes on how they make their engines and stuff, and then we do get cool products out of it. Unfortunately, the death of the console, in my opinion, is the Unreal Engine 5 that is a power-hungry engine, and it's got its fair share of criticisms, and I agree with a lot of people, and nobody's creating their own engines anymore and not utilizing an engine to run on the PS5.
That's the weirdest thing that I think I've noticed with the newest market for all of these games is everything is moving over to Unreal Engine, and it's because you remember how engines couldn't do a thing, right? I think of, for instance, we take a look at CryEngine, right? The CryEngine was a very pretty engine. It was really good at making first-person shooters, but it wasn't very good at making racing games. There's a reason why that engine wasn't built, or there's a reason why people didn't use that engine or buy the license to make a racing game with the CryEngine, right? Or any of Ubisoft's engines. There's no reason why anybody would pay for an Ubisoft engine to make it use to make. And I mean, this is also a little bit of a specific one because Ubisoft themselves uses their engines to make a ton of different games, Assassin's Creed and motorsport games. And
what is their engine? Is that Unity?
Let me look it up. I'll try.
Yeah, search it up real quick. I know Unity is its own thing.
It's not Unity.
But that's an engine as well. Am I correct or wrong?
Yes. But Unity is a whole fucking other thing. It's the Anvil engine, formerly Scimitar and Anvil Next. Yeah, so Ubisoft Anvil is their main engine that they use, and then they had Snowdrop.
So how much longer do you think it's going to be for Ubisoft starts adopting Unreal Engine 5?
I don't think they'll adopt Unreal Engine. They've invested so much money into the Anvil engine, and it's honestly pretty successful for them, especially considering that Black Flag released recently, and it's doing pretty well. I don't think that they're going to go, oh, no, let's fucking move over to Unreal Engine.
Right. I think Unreal Engine 5 is a cost-cutting measure for big AAA titles, though.
It is.
Microsoft and Sony doing it, and, you know, all the bigwigs. Like, sad news. Kayman, you want to tell everybody the sad news about Doom?
Oh, I mean, that kind of goes into the whole conversation with like Xbox, which we can talk about it more. But they basically had what was it, 3,200 employees in total throughout all of their departments were laid off.
Yeah, but not only with the layoffs of Doom, but the fact that they're going to get rid of the id.
Well, the reason for that, so when they laid off all of their employees, right, they basically gave id Software and Bethesda a notice. They said, hey, we have to lay off this many people, pick and choose your people that you're going to lay off, right? They probably went through and picked and chose some people that they, obviously Microsoft wanted to lay off or for whatever reason, you know, in their own ways. But when it came to probably Bethesda and a few others, they just gave them a notice. So Bethesda went to id Software and said, hey, you have this deadline, figure it out. And what the problem is that id Software lost not only, I think it was like they had like 300 employees and they lost like 200.
It was 200 employees, and they were forced to get rid of like 132.
Yeah.
And
a lot of those employees that they released that they've laid off were id Tech engine workers.
I don't know, man. Like, these layoffs, from what I've been reading online, of course, a lot of it is oversaturated market. There was a lot of people that were in management and above that weren't needed. Now, I'm not saying these people should lose their jobs, and hopefully they find something else in this industry, because we all know the gaming industry is in a real shit spot right now.
Mm-hmm.
But that being said, you know, if this is what it takes to right the ship a little bit, because markets go up and down, right? Like,
yes.
like these people can weather a storm and they can go and they can find somewhere else to work. And I say that because I'm in an industry that does the same thing. It goes up, it goes down, and we do get affected by that.
Yeah.
And of course, I'm not wishing or promoting like bad, harmful things to people's lives, because this is their incomes, for God's sakes.
Yeah.
But what I am saying is that I think
there are some
I think these studios are over bloated with people, and there's a lot of there's a lot of management and upper echelon people that are not making decisions. I mean, for the last like 6 years. So when they did the layoffs, there's an email chain with Asha Sharma, sorry.
Something like that. One of the
yeah, who basically now they have a timeline of games coming out. Like in 2018, they announced Elder Scrolls 6.
Yeah.
In 2018, and they're working on it. But right now they're working on, I think, Fallout's next.
So Obsidian is making Fallout.
Yes, but excuse me. What I'm saying is she's been in head of Xbox for 3 months now.
Yeah.
And after 6 years of consoles being out of this 8th generation, we now have a timeline. Like back before, you used to get timelines all the time. E3 was huge with announcing trailers. Now, of course,
it's just the Game Awards that does that.
Yeah, and I mean, unfortunately, when E3 was a big thing, you know, you get some fake trailers and games would never come out or whatever, but yeah, majority you get kind of be excited for your console, your PC generation at that time. And we've been left with fucking nothing.
So I would actually argue that I think that point that you just brought up is actually the biggest reason for why it feels like there's nothing, right? Because when you take a look at the timeline, the only thing that's different is that video game development is a lot longer for sure, but it's not in the scale of, like, you know how like we scale things with prices from different time points or whatever. It's about the same in terms of just like development cost and development time, right?
Yeah, but some of that could be mismanagement, right?
For sure. No, I'm not at all disagreeing with that.
Not keeping your team on track, right? Like
I totally agree.
Every job has a hierarchy,
yeah,
and a structure. And when you get too many chiefs and not enough Indians, no, please don't be offended by that comment.
It's a fucking statement.
But when you have too many people, you know, Microsoft has a lot of money, right?
They have a lot of studios,
and they have a lot of studios. And I think a lot of people were sitting on their hands. I think when Phil Spencer was head of Xbox, I think there was no pressure on these developers to come out with games fast. They were like, just make a good game.
No, that's right.
And they were like, we want to make this game, and not thinking about what the market is of the gamers.
So yeah, pretty much what it was. Right, and to my earlier point was that we don't have anything in the middle of the year, right? Because the E3 was the Summer's Games Fest, right?
Yep.
We had every year E3 during the middle of the year where we would get trailers, we would get demos, we would get this whole convention
of games coming out in the fall,
games, right? And the problem is that now everything's moved to just exclusively digital stuff. We've got the Nintendo Direct, the Xbox Showcase, the PlayStation Showcase, you know, and all of those things happen around the same time, near the end of the year with the Game Awards. Now, the Game Awards is the biggest event that showcases all of these new games and all of these new things for us to take a look at, right? And my point to it was necessarily that, like, you are correct that there was a lot of mismanaged, too many people managing all of these different studios, just allowing them to give leeway only because Phil Spencer's plan was to originally just have it be like a streaming service, right?
Well, and he wanted Xbox to be everywhere, like you said, a streaming service.
Yeah.
And they couldn't. I don't think Xbox could decide. They had an identity crisis, right? Like,
for sure.
Like, were they a third-party developer? Were they a publisher?
Right.
They were just like, let's just make some great games, because gamers will.
I think what was her name?
Asha Sharma.
Asha. Her plan right now to fix Xbox is exclusively like, we need the brand. We need the.
I know they're making
things.
mistakes, and I know that Microsoft is also doing a thing. I looked at. I was reading an article. I read two, but the one that links to the Xbox was with the push of the digital media only with Sony. Microsoft's doing the same thing. They're going to try and get rid of that, but they're at least doing a service to the gamers that have hard copies of the games, where you can actually install them on your games in your digital library.
Yeah,
which I think is cool. But it still doesn't mean that they're not going to mess up, because Microsoft. I mean, Asha Sharma has done a lot of good things, and they've done some stupid shit so far. But I'm not a big Xbox guy anymore, just because I hate Microsoft with a passion. But I'm excited for them, and I want them around, because the current state of Sony and their big head.
Competition breeds better environment.
And I wanted to go back and touch on, Sony says that they say that this is a natural progression to go all digital. But what worries me about Sony is that people that have purchased movies on their digital storefront, they went ahead. They didn't want to pay for licensing anymore on movies, and they basically got rid of like 500 movies. So you just lost the right to have that, something you paid for, and they're not paying you back for it. They're not and that's my issue. Is like, if it was digital, and I think that it should be physical and digital. I think that if they're going to take away the ability to buy physical games, they should at least allow you to burn those games on your own disc.
At the point where it's the war for physical consumer rights. It's starting to get to the point where we're gonna start having to do stuff to make sure that we can.
Well, they're gonna turn everybody into pirates, right?
Yeah.
And
hey, I won't fucking complain about that.
No, my issue is that I have a lot of issues, of course, not just with myself, but with this industry that I love so much. They don't. I don't know how to put it into words. They're so detached from the fan base that supports them, and like I reported, 62% don't have access.
Yeah.
it's not that they don't have internet, right? A lot of people, everybody has internet. I mean,
it's because PlayStation doesn't.
And that goes back to your comment that you've harped and trumpeted forever. It's what are they going to do now? So they're going to alienate 62% of the market. So 38% of us that have PSN, that's going to raise the PSN yearly. Mm-hmm. That's going to raise the cost of games on the internet. You know, they're already doing the dynamic pricing. You know, and then
spend more money because you've spent so much money.
And they give you no digital protection on your software that you purchased.
Yeah.
I mean, what's next? Music? They don't. You know, Taylor Swift, like the biggest pop artist in the fucking world, decides she doesn't want to use Sony anymore. She wants to do with Spotify and something else.
Yeah.
You know, I'm an Apple fanboy, and luckily for me, Apple's $1 trillion company, so I don't see them deleting any of my digital software right now.
Yeah.
But it is definitely a worry in the future if Sony can get away with it with no repercussions. You know,
I mean, it's again, like I said, you know, the war against consumer rights. You know,
I mean,
what is actually technically allowed for us to own when it's something that's not physical, right?
Right.
Everything has already moved to the point.
It's just a license, right?
And when we do get the availability to have my dad on the podcast, like he'll talk about that probably a lot, where you know he downloads all of his music. He downloads.
Your dad has been a pioneer. You know, and your dad's 54, and he's a total tech guy. I mean, every time I talk to him, he's got something new techie. Yeah. And I love it because it's like when we report this news on our podcast and the things that we're passionate about, your dad's always forefront of a lot of things.
Yeah.
And I've always respected that. Like, I'd go to your dad's house and he's like, oh, what do you want for music? And he'd just find it and I'd have it. Now, I've gotten lazy like a lot of normies. I call myself a normie when it comes to that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
But I'm also a normie with a shorter fuse.
But I mean, you also go to shows, right? You would say normie, but you go to a lot of shows and you purchase, you know, if you would really like a band or whatever, you purchase the physical stuff.
But I guess what I'm getting at is that your dad has it locked down so good, like a lot of these hardcore gamer, PC gamers.
Yeah.
He doesn't rely on...
he's really moved away from Steam. I mean, like, he only uses GOG.
I know, it's insane
at this point, and he's all about that DRM free practice.
Well, and I was going to get to that because even though the PC gamers do the same thing, we're all digital.
Yeah.
You know, I was going to ask you, you know, what are the key differences between that and like a console? And I could weigh in on a few things, and I'll start if you don't mind.
Yeah, go for it.
There's more digital rights protection with Steam and GOG. And we have so many multiple storefronts that we can purchase our games from Epic to even Ubisoft and stuff like that. But we do run the risk if they steamroll the consoles. You know, these console manufacturers have some power.
Yeah.
They're not the most powerful, and PC gaming is powerful, but
they have leeway in the market.
Where it worries me is with the AI boom right now and the up and down, and hopefully, we're all hoping that it goes away. What worries me is that the AI is putting a huge strain on the common gamer, especially a PC gamer, like your buddy who wants to build his own machine, to afford to do it. Like they're gone are the days of people having a normal job, like not even a career, just a normal job where they barely make rent, they barely make all their stuff, and
getting
and they have one hobby and it's gaming, right? So they'll say every penny they got, and then like in 6 months to a year, they'll upgrade their machine for like 7 years, and they're golden, and that's becoming incredibly hard. Like, and I think with the Sony thing, like I keep going back to Sony, is I'm afraid the PC market will be very similar, where it'll only be the whales that can afford all the stuff. Now, I'm fortunate enough to afford these things, but here's the deal. You know me, and I'm not trying to interrupt you, but you know me. Good. I'm the first guy that says I vote with my dollar. Yeah. I have the money, and I could be a whale. I could go out and buy the expensive shit.
Yeah.
But I almost spend my money on my gaming stuff like you do, and you don't make nearly as much money as I do, richly for our careers that we're chosen right now.
Yeah.
And I live my gaming life the same way you do. Like, I bought a 9070. I didn't buy a fucking NVIDIA card.
Right. So, I wanted to bring up, right, because you asked
go
me
ahead.
the differences between the PC and the console.
Yeah, go ahead. I just want to rant real quick.
No, you're good. No, you're fine. They're different only in one major aspect, right? And the only thing that links them together is the one thing that we've talked about a lot, right? You mentioned just a second ago talking about the underdog, the guy that can't fucking pay for anything. He's living scrap by scrap.
If you hear the sirens right now, I've said too much.
Yep, they're coming for us.
And if this podcast cuts off, I apologize. I'll do it in jail.
Nah, I'm going to keep it in. I kind of like the fun band.
Oh, I wasn't talking about removing it from the podcast. I said if this thing cuts short, we'll just record it in jail.
So, fair enough. Yeah. So, I mean, you mentioned it a minute ago, right? Like, basically, you gotta give me a second here because I gotta reform my thoughts here. So we were talking about the underdog, the guy that can't afford anything, right? And the biggest problem is with the PC market alone, right? We've had how many video cards come out in the past 3 years, right? We had the 50,000 series come out 2 years after the 4,000 series, right? Was it 2 years or was it 3 years? I think it was 2 years.
I think it was 2 years.
I think it was 2 years.
Well, hold on. Didn't they release them in 24, 25?
I'm gonna fucking look it up.
Yeah, look it up real quick. Because I know that the 4,000 series came out 22, 23.
NVIDIA card releases. Here we go. So 50,000 series debuted January 30th of 2025. Here we go. Maybe this will tell me all of it better.
Yeah, let's slice open another cigar, my friend.
Do it, my friend. So 26 4 series, FX series, GeForce 6. That just gives me like the whole list. I asked for the card releases.
Well, yeah, just go ahead and just look at the release of the 40 series. Just look that up real quick. Make it a little more specific.
Okay. 2022, so that was like, what, 3 years ago. Yeah. And then before that, the 3000 series, or the 30,000 was of 2020. So the 30,000 came out in 2020, and then they did the 40,000 in 2022, and then they did the 50,000 at 2025. The problem is that each of those graphics cards, while powerful as they are, have been demanding developers with Unreal Engine and all these other engines that they've been developing.
They're definitely locking you down with software for sure.
To make it so that if you don't have those things, right, like you mentioned, back a decade ago, you would buy a graphics card.
Yep.
Say you bought, the 10,000 series, right? How many years did you have your 10,000 series card?
Oh. 7 years?
I had mine for like almost a decade fully, right? And it ran mostly everything for a whole decade.
Yeah.
It only got, once it was about, I want to say 2017, 2018 when the game started becoming more
People are still using it today.
Yeah.
And the reason being is because of the Steam and GOG having, GOG has a huge catalog of old games, and Steam also has a huge catalog of old games, but at the same time, there's a lot of indie developers that are making games that don't require all that horsepower.
The problem right now is that, especially right now, you can't afford a 50,000 series unless if you're making good money. The problem is you're being outpriced not by the hardware itself, other than with
what is the price of a 5090 right now? Look it up on the
5090, the most expensive.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, you got to go to the top. That's the guy that trickles down everybody.
$5,000 for one of the 32 gigabytes 5090 series cards.
So just FYI, you could buy a car for that. A used car.
Yeah, I mean that's really the biggest problem that I've noticed with console markets, right? And we've mentioned this, like if you have $1,000, right? We'll bring this up with like the Steam machine, right? It is a small PC. Now Xbox has the same thing coming out, and it's about to be the same price as the Steam machine, right?
Yep.
It's going to be $1,200 for this hybrid console PC console, right?
Yep.
It's better to just do that rather than spend the time and the money building your own PC. Nobody's going to spend $5,000.
And that's the point, though.
But that's what I'm saying. Like, it's not because it's necessarily like if you want to run it good. Like, does a 50? What is it? 50 5060, 5060, 5030, whatever. Like, can those cards run the games that you want? Sure. Probably at like the lowest settings. Maybe
1080p.
It might struggle here and there, to try to get something to run perfectly fine. But if you're a low budget gamer, like, sure, you can try to do that for sure. But if you want to have any kind of like lovely experience with it, like, it's a luxury to pay for that thing now.
Yeah,
like, way more of a luxury than it was before.
I mean, everything obviously.
I paid. I think it was $1,500 for my 3080 Ti. 3080 Ti. Like, that's not a fucking punk of a card. That's a.
How many gigabytes of VRAM do you have in that?
Let me look it up because I can't remember.
So I bought my 9070 XT 6 months ago, and I paid $800 for it, and it's got
12 gigabytes of memory.
I've got 16 gigabytes of DDR6, and I'm assuming
your card is better than mine because yours is newer.
No, I know that. I'm not bragging. I'm just saying there is still cards out there that are like. The reason why I bought the 9070, not only did your father suggest it because he's also on a form of Linux like I am.
Yeah.
But
I mean, AMD really does support Linux a lot.
Yeah, and what I like about the card is that it's a realistic card. In the retrospective, most games run really good at 2K. We've talked about that before. It's god tier resolution for most gaming, and I can run almost every game at 90 to 140 frames a second with my depending on my settings being medium or ultra. Most games I'm running on high or ultra settings and running at a really high frame rate, 70 to like even with like say Doom the Dark Ages that like you said requires ray tracing or has some ray tracing in it or is in
it has an option to turn it on.
It does have its but it
was baked in when it first released.
It was almost in its DNA. It's NVIDIA Pro rather than AMD Pro.
Yeah. And
I've had my issues with it. I still do. But that being said, it's my machine and my CPU is old. I mean, it's a 3900X.
Yeah.
AMD, Ryzen 7 or 9, whatever. But it was badass when it came out.
No, I mean, you also don't. You're not like me that has a fucking gajillion things open at once to pull up. Like I've got my browser with a bunch of shit open, and I've got my music.
I've never been that guy. Yeah, and the reason being is
so,
because I know that's what that's for.
A cheaper CPU isn't bad for you.
For me, it wasn't cheap when I bought it. It's just an older one now. But for me, it's when I'm doing something like gaming, I just game. I close everything out. Right. I don't want all that shit running in the background because I do want my performance to stay at peak. If I want my machine to run at 60 plus frames a second with 2K and high settings, I don't want other things taking up my resources.
Yeah.
And that's one of the reasons why I went to Linux because it runs such a low amount of requirement idle space, and most of the time it doesn't really affect me in the background.
Yeah. I mean, there's a reason why there's a guy out there that built this program to rip shit out of Windows when you install a new version of Windows.
Right. So, I mean, the difference is, in my opinion, for PC is that you just have more options. You have more freedom online with a computer when it comes to the safety of digital software than you do with PlayStation.
I mean, you also have the availability of stuff, right? Like, we've talked about it with, like, pirates and stuff. Like, if you wanted to, like, we talk about how, like, demos aren't a thing anymore, right? Like, download it for free if you want, for fuck's sake, and just try it out and see if it's something... Your
father is I used to bust his chops all the time for burning...
For doing that?
Well, burning and pirating stuff because, I mean, obviously, he had a family of 5, and he was supporting everyone, and he didn't have the money at the time to buy all the shit, but he wanted to play it, so he would download it, and I bust his balls. But to your dad's credit, if he liked a game enough after he played it, he would
buy it.
He would literally beat the game pirated or borrowed, and he would later buy the game for his digital library.
Yeah,
I mean, he gave the money to them. I mean,
I'm gonna tell you right now. Like, especially in this day and age, I have no fucking problems with people pirating video games.
I don't either.
I used to when I was younger, mostly because I was like, "Come on, guys! Like, give the developers money." It's at this point, it's a trial.
Well,
like,
back then,
run the thing, man.
Back then, though, it was a legitimate argument because there was a lot of small developers that you wanted to support and give them money. Now they're all under these umbrellas now, And
well, I mean,
they're being bought out by a lot of other
there's a lot of the same thing with like indie developers and stuff like that, but I feel like the most part people who look at indie games like that, they go and look at what the community says, right? A lot of people do yeah.
I'll read what gamers say, and fortunately enough, on Steam, there's a lot of games that are indie that have demos you can download.
Yes,
I mean, they're really good about it. I mean, I have probably currently right now some newer games that are coming out later in the year or even in 2027 that are lower budget. Double A or even single A, that are on my machine demo ready and installed, and I just haven't had time to play them yet.
Yeah,
and I want to, and I put them on my wish list. I'm like click. Like I just picked up the demo of Silver Pine, and it's an indie developed game, very beautiful. It's a side scroller, but it's set like almost like Silent Hill, but it's not. I mean, I've only ran into one monster in the game so far, but you play as a private investigator looking for a rock star that's kind of gone hiatus, and it's a very cool narrative driven game, and I'm playing the demo right now.
Yeah, I think you showed it to me.
And I already played the demo for about an hour and a half, and I'll tell you right now, when it comes available, it's still going to be on my wish list. It's still going to be purchased when it comes out day one.
Yeah, I mean, my argument with pirating comes from. Yeah, for instance, like AAA or AA, right? Like a lot of those studios don't make demos anymore. Pirating is a way to demo it yourself. Like, are you going to purchase this game? If you want to, and if it's a multiplayer game, it's already kind of difficult. Just don't play the multiplayer until you're finished with whatever. If it's an only multiplayer game and it's like the only thing that you can get or whatever, I would say don't purchase it. But
well, you go back to what you said. You look at the community notes.
You look at the community notes.
You listen to some people's reviews, and you see what people say because there's a lot of to the digital
look out for other gamers.
To the digital market, there's a lot of people out there that play games that have the money, and will let you know whether or not the game is worth a shit or not.
No,
and
the things that I always find funny is when you go and look at reviews for like free games on Steam or whatever, right? And it's these dudes that are like, this game fucking sucks, and then they give it a downvote, but they have like 8,000 hours onto the game or some shit like that,
It's fucking stupid.
That's where it gets really funny.
That's a lot of hours.
Yeah, I mean, dude, there are people out there that just have that time, or it's like their only game, Like a lot of people that play like War Thunder, like that's the only game they play,
I know a lot of people do that. I know a lot of people that will play free-for-all games, and they absolutely go hard.
Yeah.
Well, I fucking done talking about those shitbags at the Sony headquarters. Kayman, you and I both downloaded and have been playing Doom: The Dark Ages Revelations.
Yes. Yeah.
I'll give my piece since I brought it out.
Did you finish it?
No, not yet. I don't know how long I've gotten through the game.
Because there's 3 major levels.
I'm on a snow level.
So you're still on the first level?
Yeah. So I've gone through a couple of stage jumps, right? And I'm running into some issues that people are having with the newer graphics cards where textures are missing and stuff like that, and it does not happen in the original content.
Yeah, you were talking about that to me.
Overall, though, it's highly enjoyable. The spear, dude.
Oh my god!
I mean, the spear ability to sling onto an enemy and fling past them, and then also to use your shield and bash guys. I always loved the shield in the original. I loved it.
They give you so many options to engage in a fight. We'll get into it in a minute. I'll let you finish because we'll get into it in a minute because I want to talk about that a lot.
What I'm saying is you're right. That's the best part. Is you've talked about it at length. We know that Doom Eternal is your favorite game for a lot of reasons. And Doom: The Dark Ages was not catered to Doom Eternal. It was fans. And
it was its own thing. Yeah.
It was its own thing. And with this new expansion, they have sure shit sprinkled in Doom Eternal play styles. 100%. In my opinion, the quick,
Well, I mean, you were watching me play. You saw how slotted in I was feeling after a little bit of time.
It was just actually, what's funny is it was learning the new control set with the left control to double jump and
it's so insane.
Yes, but the game is very, very frenetic.
Oh yeah,
and it's fun. It's really fun. What is it
about it that makes it go so much faster than the actual base campaign? Have you noticed that it's a lot more fast?
Well, I think that was the mindset of this. I think they're ramping up.
Making speed.
So Doom Eternal, Doom: The Dark Ages is the first of the series, right? Like they're played in reverse, correct? Or
yeah,
like
in the timeline, yeah.
Yeah, and so I think this add-on, this DLC, is really cool because you're getting a little taste of the Doom Slayer becoming the Doom Eternal Slayer.
The Doom guy going from Doom... Well, it is still the Slayer, I guess. Yeah, that's a good way to put it because it's still the Slayer.
Yeah, but I'm enjoying. I'm highly recommend if you have it on console or if you have it on PC. I'm really enjoying myself. Other than some graphical issues, that does take away from my fun a little bit because, I know my machine can play it, and I know that it's just a hiccup in how they're running their software.
Yeah, just something with the bug. It's a bug.
But once they fix it, because a lot of people are having the problem, it's not just me. I'll tell you, man, it's probably some of the most fun AAA DLC I've played in a long time.
id Software has been nothing but fucking fantastic at making their DLCs. The Doom Eternal DLCs were the same way. The fucking what was it called? The Ancient Gods Part 1. Fucking masterclass.
That was brutal. We talked about that. We talked about that in the Doom episode, and Doom Eternal was difficult, but Doom the Ancient Gods ramped it up.
Yeah.
And this DLC in the Dark Ages, I would
definitely ramps it up.
I would give it. I gave Doom the Dark Ages an 8.5 out of 10 because I'm a huge Doom guy like you. I love Doom, and I love id. I would give the DLC a 9. I think it's that good.
This is where it's probably going to get a little bit interesting for you because I've said a lot about the Dark Ages and how much I had a lot of problems with it when I was playing
absolutely.
It. And I wanted to finish the game before I even started the DLC. I didn't want to run just immediately into the new stuff.
You want to do it the proper way.
Yeah, and so on my return to the Dark Ages, it took a minute because I got to remember how the fuck to play the game. And there was a lot of bullshit. The one thing that I noticed was in the Dark Ages, I'm a very fast-paced guy. And it requires you to slow down.
Yep.
You've got to pay attention. You've got to stop yourself. You've got to look around you, right? And Doom Eternal had that element, but it was a lot more aerial time to do that. That was your moment to go, I'm in the air. I'm going to take a look at my surroundings. Okay, this is what I need to do.
Yep.
And the Dark Ages is very much based on you're on the fucking ground and you're going to be fucking shit up, okay? There's 50 guys in front of me. How do I take this out without having to strain myself. And the other thing that I noticed that it was really reliant on was that parry mechanic system. And it was very weird, too, because it was very lenient in the terms of that I press the button really fast, and when you press it really fast, it doesn't count the parry. You have to hold the shield out for a lot longer to continue to have that parry actually continue. It was something I noticed with it. And when I was fighting the last boss for the Dark Ages, which, fuck that guy. I had to fight him 4 times. It pissed me off. But, I mean, that's the whole point, right? That's the game. I noticed that at that point where I was like, okay, it's really requiring me. Because he does bullshit moves. Like, he fucking attacks you multiple times. And
he's a douche.
And it's like 2 hits on Nightmare difficulty, which, of course, I got to play it on Nightmare difficulty because I hate myself. And once I started to slow down, I was like, okay.
In the options, though, you can shorten the window.
Yes. Yeah. But
You didn't, though.
I'm not a punk. But when I started the DLC, I came from a hopeful, and after finishing the campaign, I was actually pretty happy because I was pissed mostly because I was like, why are the best levels the last levels of the game? Right, were the most fun I had with the whole game. It was the last 3 levels. I was like, okay, my spirits are risen. I'm ready to get this DLC, let's go. And the first cutscene fucking hits hard. And they hit everything. The story's more interesting. You're getting told what's happening in the story, so you know what's going on. And then you've got the fucking gameplay. And as soon as I got that spear, and it was like, oh yeah, you remember Doom Eternal? You remember that meat hook? Here you go. And I was like,
yep.
I'm good. You don't need to give me anything. I'm just going to use that exclusively. Just that.
And that's exactly what it reminded me of. It was really fun. I thought the combination of the 2 mechanics of the shield,
and the spear
and that were
really interesting.
I think if they had that originally, I don't think anybody would have had any complaints.
Probably not.
And I'll be honest, man. I really think the Spirit was added because of that reason.
It was. No, it was. They've admitted that. Yeah, they specifically said that Doom Eternal fans will be happy with the DLC for sure. What I was going to say is the Doom the Dark Ages, the whole campaign isn't really that difficult. No. I blew pretty.
No, it's not difficult. The worst parts are the dragon.
Yeah,
and the robots, the Atlas are both kind of lame.
Yeah,
but anytime you're in the Eyes of the Slayer and you're fighting, it's pretty grounded.
Yeah, they're good times. But the what I'm mostly thinking about is like, here's one thing I noticed when I was replaying it. Right, a lot of the enemies don't move in the maps, right, and that's because the maps are so large. They wanted to make it feel like a war zone, right? You would go to a section, and then there would be a lot of enemies for you to fight, in close quarters combat. The DLC doesn't really do that. It's very closed areas if you pay attention,
and the enemies are a lot more aggressive,
and they're also more thought out in terms of their placements. It's not necessary, and I'm not saying that the campaigns isn't thought out. I just saying. It feels more methodical in terms of the
Dark
DLC.
Ages was a good concept, but the DLC is better.
Yes,
and the DLC is if the Dark Ages had all of those same mechanics, it would have been a massive hit because it wasn't as big a hit compared to Eternal. And I kind of blame id Software and Bethesda. Probably being indecisive about what kind of direction they wanted to take it. I mean, they knew the story-wise where they wanted to take it, but gameplay. I mean, if you really think about it, if they had just added those mech scenes and the dragon scenes, and then just made a Doom Eternal game mechanics, but you just felt heavier, it would have sold a lot better.
Well, it's also interesting to see. Well, because in the DLC, he's a lot faster than he is in the actual campaign, and that's because he's not armored, right? For like the big section of it, which I think they did that on purpose. They lowered your health, your armor, and your ammo to make it to where you have that progression, and they did that on purpose to make. They wanted
to knock the Doomslayer down a peg too.
Oh, he got knocked down.
Yeah,
he got fucking knocked down. But that motherfucker gonna come right back up real quick.
he runs off rage and discontent.
But the other thing that I think is more important is that the id Software heard what the biggest complaints were with the game and decided to say, okay, you know what, this is what we should do, and they made it basically reminisce to old school Doom by bringing back those old levels and also new stuff with like his past and stuff by playing this first person perspective, like 3D modeled shotgun,
which is really interesting because when you watch the documentaries on the original Doom 2016, they didn't want to spend any time on story arc, and they wanted to just get right into it. And
they changed that after Doom Eternal too.
Yeah, and so like in this third game, they actually had a little more story narrative.
Yeah,
and which I enjoyed because obviously I like the universe that it's in. But okay, so you've talked about that. What would you give it for a rating? The DLC, and the original. So you beat it now.
What did I give it last time?
I don't remember.
I don't remember either.
What would you give it now? You beat it all. You beat it on Nightmare Mode, the original campaign. What would you give it now that you have like fresher eyes?
The Dark Ages initially gave me some rough times, and I can't say too much on the whole campaign, only because I haven't replayed through it all. And it wasn't that I was unhappy with it; I was just really bored. When I got into it again, and the challenge hit me, and I was getting frustrated, and then I logged right back into it because I said, "Fuck you, I'm going to beat your ass." It brought back that fun for me. The original game, I'd probably say for me is like a 6 or 7.
I was thinking like 6 or 7.
But the DLC is like 9.5, 9.8. Okay, I haven't finished it yet, and I've only ever heard good things, and I hope that when I finish it, I'm going to give it like a 10 out of 10. Because, for instance, we'll reference some other YouTubers here, like Moist Critical. He gave it a 10 out of 10. He said it's the best Doom content he's played in a while. He says he feels it might be better than Doom Eternal. Which
I don't know about that, but it's very close. It's definitely up there.
He says the same things.
Yeah.
Like it's very close. He doesn't know he'd have to replay Doom Eternal again, but I mean, it's good to see that they took this approach,
Yeah.
And with the whole news with Xbox, it makes me kind of scared because they've lost a lot of their engine developers and stuff like that to not have the ability to innovate again like that, right? There's no other game like that, like Doom: The Dark Ages. There's no other game that's going to be like Doom Eternal. Only id Software can make those games, right?
Right.
Like we've mentioned it before. Like Witchfire is very Doom coded, but it's not the same.
Well, I'm glad you brought that up, buddy, because I've been digging my teeth hard into the update of Revelations.
Well, when I finish my thing, which we'll talk about here in a minute, I finally will have some time to fucking do that. But
yes, I'm going to bring up Witchfire because I've been digging my teeth into the expansion, the latest update. It's also called Revelations.
I wonder if that's connected.
I don't know. They've added a slew of story elements, which I find very enjoyable. For instance, in the early access, which it's still in, you got fallen prayers, and you would find them and earn them, and they would help you. Each one has an ability. Like one of them will find like traps because there's cursed traps all over on the maps, and when you walk into an area that has cursed traps, he'll appear and disarm them until he gets damaged. You have to resurrect it if you have enough echoes.
Yeah.
And then there's another guy that helps you defend against madness, and that's a big thing when you're going against sentinels, which are these cool glowing rocks that open. There's a skull in the middle, and they shoot madness at you like red skulls that just go. They basically, once your madness meter fills up, you lose like a quarter of your life. And then, of course, there's bosses when you get into calamities that also cause madness, and he'll shield you. You just stay inside his shield. And then you can run out, and then he'll lock whatever madness level you have. I did not know that they added multiple weapons. I was shocked. I have earned a few things so far. I've gotten a few of the rosary beads that add more bonuses to certain things, like sniper rifle and all that other stuff. But I earned a new heavy weapon that's pretty awesome. And I've earned, like I think I said this before, I've earned a new spell, which basically you throw out a flaming skull. When it hits, it explodes and does the area effect damage, and then it stays alive for like 30-40 seconds and detracts enemies from you. And one of the abilities, once you level it up all the way, is if you kill an enemy, it frustrates the skull and it stays in the battlefield longer and then starts to do more damage because it wants to kill something faster than you, which is great. I do like in this new update that it added more of a story arc. There's some characters in the story arc. There's more torments. They've added a garden where you can find like these special items that help you grow your own things, like things you need to craft.
Oh, okay.
As incense and other things. Because incense is a big thing. Like I have like 30 spells.
Because it's technically like roguelike. Right.
Correct.
Where you're going and you have the random things or whatever.
One of the things I'm really enjoying is learning about the fallen prayers, because there's 6 of them. And what happens is they now have you'll see this little icon on all the levels now, because now there's like 6 or 7 there's 6 levels now, which is the new level marshlands, and then they have the outskirts. And the outskirts was added.
This is the full release of the game, isn't it?
No, not yet. No, okay. It's one more. One more. We're on 0.9.
That's crazy.
But the outskirts were introduced in the last update, and it was kind of like it started you out, even if you had put as much time as I have into it, it started your character out like right there, and you're going to the Hermitorium, which is where you basically end up when you die or you survive a level.
Yeah.
And you can level up your guns and your all your attributes. And they made that more of an actual battlefield now too. And what's really cool is when you see some of the levels, you'll see like these little dossier logos, and you go there, and then you'll see a particular Fallen Prayers icon now on the screen, and you'll find them, and then they'll tell you their backstory. And you basically, your whole job is to judge them. Do they go to heaven? Do they go to hell?
Do you make the choice?
And you have to make the choices.
Oh, that's cool.
And so I've done a couple of them so far. Obviously there's 6 of them. And it is very, very compelling. And knowing that I still have 5 more freaking pistols and a couple other long-range weapons to get is also really cool. And I don't know where the hell I'm going to find them.
I mean, those guys on that team have been fucking cooking that game for years. They
recently released an update. I think it's till August. They're done until August, where they did a bunch of performance enhancements for the game, because the game came out with the new update, it was kind of buggy. I'll be perfectly honest. It was a little more rough at the launch than it should have been, and they've really tuned it up, and made it a lot more playable. But I know I talk about this game all the time. It's kind of like my Doom Eternal right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, I am definitely recommend that to anybody that wants to spend $40 on a great game.
Yeah, I mean, Witchfire, dude. Like, I want to spend more time with it. I just been fucking busy doing other shit. But I will say, like, the only thing I'm not super into with the Witchfire is like the soundtrack. Like, I'm a big soundtrack guy. I like video game soundtracks.
No, I totally understand. The only real song or track that actually stands out is when you're at the
they have a lot of like boss songs.
Yeah,
but they're nothing that I can really remember. Or
right.
Like
The Herbatorium is the best one because it has this really cool chant that reminds me of, like, I don't want to get nerdy, but Lord of the Rings.
Okay,
and it's kind of cool, but that's not their strong suit. You know, being that they're a small studio of 12 guys
for sure.
But you know, when it comes to soundtrack, let's talk about this because we were talking about Doom Dark Ages.
Yeah.
We both kind of brought it up. Like, you've obviously have a passion for gaming soundtracks more so than me. I had actually brought it up to you when we were talking. There was a level that you hadn't got to yet. And I was talking to you about this. There was a really badass part where they were doing some really cool double bass.
Yeah,
and I was like, "What in the Orbit Culture Bloodhound are they doing right here?"
I know what part that is in that song, and I can totally pull it up at any point. But the DLC. So here's the funny part, right? With Dark Ages, I like the soundtracks. I like listening to the, especially with like
for the viewers out there, listeners, who are the minds behind the Dark Ages soundtrack?
It's going to be 4 guys. They're called Finishing Moves Inc. They've done a couple other video game soundtracks. They did some DLCs.
Hold on, bud. When you were rattling off the credits these guys have, go ahead and tell people because in my opinion, that's pretty impressive soundtrack. Credit, in my opinion.
Oh no, they
because I didn't know anything about them, and then you're like, hey, they did this game. I'm like, what?
Well, yeah, I mean, here's the thing, like, as much as I love the Doom Eternal soundtrack, like, I think out of these new Doom games, like, that's my favorite for sure. And I know that, like, Dad's favorite is still 2016. He loves that industrial glitch type metal, that heavy beat. And you've kind of mentioned it too. We've talked about it where you aren't quite sure, but you lean towards the grungier.
I've been thinking about what you said about that.
Yeah,
and the reason why it stuck with me so hard, the 2016 soundtrack.
Yeah.
And I had time to actually process what you were saying is, you know, being the fact that I'm a huge metalhead, you don't see a lot of metal in music anymore.
Yeah.
In the raw form of what metal is, like, you know, a couple guys, and 4 guys in a band together, right?
Yeah.
A lot of it's one guy, and even though Mick Gordon was one guy, it sounded like a group of guys, and it was cool to play a game that was as high intensity as Doom.
Well, he also
he ran heavy metal tracks.
He was also very, very heavy metal inspired for sure. I mean, like, all of his other games that he's done, there's a lot of like really heavy stuff to it. I mean, even I showed you the new game that he was doing the soundtrack for, Defect, I think it was.
You could totally hear his
and it's
style.
Super heavy, even if it's like cyberpunk,
right.
Like kind of like, you know, I don't know what to call it, but like that fucking cyberpunk-esque kind of like heavy beats, like it's super heavy feeling.
Right. It feels heavy, but yeah, go back to Finishing Moves. What game credits do they have, buddy?
So they've done a few of the DLCs for the Borderlands 3 soundtrack. I don't think they did all of the soundtrack for Borderlands 3 because I think that was another guy. And they have 2 albums that are individual on their own. And then they also have done the soundtrack for Grounded 2 and Grounded 1's DLC.
Which are actually pretty popular games, right?
Grounded 2's soundtrack's fucking rad. It's got a cool fucking electro song when you're fighting some of the bugs and shit. We still got... That's another game that we actually do got to play eventually, because I have both of them, and me and Javen have played it every once in a while.
We've cut our podcast down to two times a month now, so...
We got to fucking get somewhere. We got to do Subnautica so we can talk about it. But, yeah, they've got a background in it, and these guys, like, look, I spent a lot of time... since the soundtrack released for the original game, not the DLC, and really taking my time with it. And initially, when I heard all of it, I only really liked half of the songs from like towards the end of the actual soundtrack, which is usually the later levels, right? And some of them are fucking bangers. Some of them are really fun. I enjoy them a lot. And then the thing that I think I appreciate the most out of it is that they don't stray away from what Mick Gordon said, right?
Okay, so before we started recording, I had a thought.
Yeah.
And here's my issue.
Yeah.
I'm not saying anything negative when it comes to finishing moves, but what I am going to say negative about it is for all the fighting that they did with Mick Gordon and all the rejections that they eventually put back in the game, it almost seems to me like finishing moves gets the go-ahead to do all the things that Mick Gordon already set in place. And that's where my rub is. It's like when I'm hearing some of these tracks, and some of them sound very Mick Gordon-esque to me.
Yeah.
They're not blatant copies.
Nope.
I know that these guys are fitting in within a parameter of what id wants. But what drives me nuts is that his most iconic tracks from the 2016 were rejected. And then they don't bring him back on the third game, which is a slap in the face.
They definitely shut him out completely.
And it sucks because I don't want to. I don't think people would give a shit about soundtracks as much as I say you would. But I'm not trying to demean the people that compose music because it's very important for games, in my opinion.
Yeah.
But a lot of the shit that's written in that Doom: The Dark Ages and even in the DLC is very, in my opinion, Mick Gordon DNA.
It's Mick Gordon DNA, but more groovier.
Right, but it's like I kind of shake my fist at id for going.
Yeah,
you were dicks to him the whole time in those two games that were super popular. And then you hire another crew of guys to come in and do almost shit that he would do.
Yeah. I actually discussed this with my buddy Nick because we talked a lot about Doom because he loves Doom as much as me, and he's also a huge fan of Berserk. We're really connected with that kind of stuff. And he was asking me a lot of questions about it because the soundtracks for us are one of the most important key factors for these Doom games, right? And he was asking me a bunch of questions, and we talked about Andrew Holschult and David Levi, right? They did the soundtracks for the DLCs for the Doom Eternal, right? And those soundtracks are, in my opinion, entirely...
Ancient Gods?
Yeah,
okay.
Yeah. For both Ancient Gods Part 1 and Part 2, yeah. Now, Andrew Holschult, I don't think you know who this guy is, but he's one of the most important figures...
I do not.
On YouTube space. Like, he does a lot of YouTube video covers, songs, and stuff like that. For Brutal Doom, the mod that we've talked about before, he did a mod, because he was commissioned to do it, basically, where he does metals tracks of all of the original Doom songs, and then is put for the Brutal Doom mod. So when you're playing it with the Brutal Doom mod, you'll have Andrew Holschult's renditions, metal versions of the original Doom themes, or the Doom songs. And they're actually really awesome. Huge important figure into the Doom franchise, or Doom space, right? Everybody was talking about, at that time when Mick Gordon was let go, like, who's going to do the next Doom soundtrack, right? And we all kind of wanted Andrew Holschult to do it because he's a really good composer. He knows what he's doing. And the honestly, in my opinion, I preferred Andrew Holschult's tracks in the Dark Ages Part 1 and Part 2 over David Levi's. But David Levi didn't do a bad job, in my opinion, either. They both did really good. But the thing that I'm going to is that in this one, right, they didn't ask them at all. They had no contact with Andrew Holschult or David Levi in making the soundtrack for Doom: The Dark Ages. I think in their mind they just wanted to completely forget about it and just move on and do something different. And going on to that, it does kind of suck.
But was it different though? That's where the rub comes in.
For the Dark Ages or for the sound?
Yeah,
for
like it's so close to the original too.
You can take because Finishing Moves does this with a few of the songs, and especially in the DLC, which I talked to you about. They take a few things from the Doom 2016 and Doom Eternal soundtrack, but they don't take it and just like rip it and put it in. They mix it into the song and into something that feels more natural, and that's something that I at least appreciated. I am in agreement with you that it's frustrating that the circumstances that they've put themselves into with Mick Gordon is the way it is.
Not finishing moves.
No, I'm talking
finishing
about,
moves
yeah.
is, from that perspective, trying to accommodate the best of both worlds. What I mean by that is making it happy,
Yeah.
And then also respecting the original content, which I can appreciate. But like I said, when I was listening to some of the tracks, and I've only been playing it for like 6 hours, I was like, that's weird. You know?
I mean, it's also probably the approach. I mean, imagine trying to live up to that kind of a legacy. I mean,
well, if they're trying to get, that's the thing though. Like you said just a second ago, if they're trying to wipe their hands clean, they didn't.
Why are they even?
They didn't throw away the dirty cloth with Mick Gordon's juice all over it. They just said, hey, let's just wring this back out, and you know,
it does definitely feel a little dirty. But the DLC soundtrack, initially when I was listening to it, I had a hard time with it. I was like, I don't know if I like this, but after I gave it some more time, it's on my rotation right now. Like, I listen to it.
Definitely better than the original soundtrack of that game.
Right now, I'm actually writing a vocal cover for the second level for the DLC called Fractal Abyss, which I'm working on. I might do that.
Well, you also had a big weekend last weekend.
Well, going on to that.
Yeah, let's talk about it. And I'm bringing it up not to change subjects.
And I used this as my suggestion for the last episode that we did on Father's Day, I think it was, or whatever. I recommended the OST for the finals. Now, I have been doing nothing but listening to the final soundtrack.
But you also been doing nothing but playing that game.
Yeah, I was getting to that.
Yeah.
I've been focused on the finals, and that's what's gotten me so busy, is that they had the open qualifiers. Well, they have, I should say, the open qualifiers for the Grand Majors, which for anybody that doesn't know, that's the official esports for the finals. Now, anybody that's new to this podcast or is listening to it on episode 12, welcome in. But
yep, welcome.
Finals is my number one multiplayer PvP game that I play. I love that game with all my heart, and I cherish it so much. They just recently had a huge new season come out. They added a new map, new cosmetics, all of that. Their fucking cosmetics are so good, dude. They're the best in the industry. Like, they're so fucking good, but I'll get to that in a minute. But yeah, they had the esports tournament, or the open qualifiers for it, and me and my buddies, we signed up for it. And for about, I want to say about 2 months, that's all I've really been doing, has been looking up strategies and paying attention to ins and outs of the whole game, and really getting a bigger grasp on how to compete in the finals as like a team, and all of these different mechanics and things like that. And the thing that really sucked about it is that when we're on cycle 3 right now, which cycle 4 happens in August. For the cycle 3, we thought it was going to be at 9 p.m., but it was actually going to be at 9 a.m., so I had to rush myself out of work, sleep deprived, not totally prepared, no game time to play with the buddies, the three of us together, and before the matches, and it unfortunately we didn't do that great. We did 69th out of 77th on the team placements, but the thing that I think we all got out of it is that we enjoyed our time. We played our best. We did what we could, and we had fun with it. We enjoyed it, and there were so many fucking nice people. Oh my god, it was so surprising. There were so many nice people that were so chill there, so good, and it's been weird.
All right. Well, I mean, the thing is that in anything competitive, you can't just show up, right? And you guys had your hiccups with wrong time and sleep depravity and honestly, dude, I'll be honest. You play a lot of games with a lot of your friends, and I'm not defending you, but I am defending you in the respect that, if you want to be on the level of some of these esports guys, it's like a professional athlete for games. You have to dedicate all your time, and so do your friends, to being that good. And when you told me you were going to get into it, I knew you guys were playing a lot, but I had my doubts only because I looked at it from a perspective of like any sport. Like, you and I aren't going to walk onto a football field and say, all right, I'll be a quarterback, you be a wide receiver, let's go.
Right.
Those are trained athletes, and they do it every single day. It's almost like a disservice if you think you could just roll up on them. And those esports guys, that's their profession, that's their job, and they are a team.
Yeah.
And that's all they frickin' do. And, I mean, in my head, I was like, hopefully he just learns something from it, because I didn't know how well you were going to do. I didn't think you were going to do terrible or whatever. But
well, I mean, I had my doubts.
Well, of course, you were there playing.
I was stressing out so fucking much for like
Right.
the past months.
But it's going to be one of those things where if that's something you're going to pursue, it has to be the only thing you're doing.
Yeah.
Because it's just anything in life, repetitive and locking in with your teammates.
Yeah.
And becoming your one unit rather than.
Well, that was the biggest problem. And I was going to say too, if anybody that wants to watch it, I on my YouTube channel I do have the full stream that we did of it.
Give a link.
On there, just go to my channel, which is just Darkness of Lord on YouTube. You'll find it. It should be like the newest video that's out.
Nice.
I think it was like a full 4-hour stream or something like that of us just doing the whole tournament. But like that was the biggest thing is not necessarily the individual skill, because I was actually doing pretty okay. There was only really like 2 teams that fucked us up completely, and it was because those guys, like you said, have been playing that game religiously.
Right. It's the only thing they play.
They were rubies for multiple seasons, and that's top 500 of the game. And it was really just the one guy. And the biggest problem was that we weren't focused. We weren't.
Yep.
A team. We weren't a unit. There was a lot of times where, towards the end of it, we tried to correct ourselves and try to get it to work, but it was really difficult. And the things that, like, we could have won more. We just needed. There was a lot of times where, even like, for instance, I had my buddies Connor and Fred. They were playing with me. Shout out to them. There was times where, like, even Connor was like, "I should have pushed that. We could have gotten that steal out if I pushed that." And I was like, "It happens, man. We all make mistakes." And everybody had that thing where they after the games, we took a look and we talked with it through each other. We figured it out and we kind of broke it down and tried to correct action and move it towards something that was different. The other thing that the major thing that we thought was a big change was that the open qualifiers wasn't what we originally thought it was going to be, where it was the 4 teams. It was actually just head-to-head, which was just 3v3. So we were unprepared for a lot of those 3v3 fights because we were mostly used to, the more chaotic speed of having 2 other teams there as well. So when we were going into it and we were talking about it afterwards, that was like a major thing that we talked about.
Is that how they're all set up then?
Afterwards, yeah. When you're in the top 16, it's then moved to the 3 teams of.
So qualifying 4. Is just.
Yeah, the open qualifiers was just head-to-heads, and then you basically just moved up. And if you got into the top 12 for the open qualifiers, then you moved to the 16, which is then live-streamed on their channel. And then the top 8 is also live-streamed on the finals, and then it goes to the Grand Majors. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Cool. But it was fun. It was a good time. We took stuff out of it, and we know where we're supposed to approach from it now.
All right.
We're taking a 2-week break because that's all we've been playing.
Well, you got to put more time in, even though you're taking a break.
Yeah. Well, we will. We have plans. I honestly don't think we're going to do the August cycle 4. We might just wait till next year. Yeah. But at least I tried this year. I mean, that was my biggest thing from last year, is that I didn't try, and that's what really fucking sucked. This year I have the thing of, like, I did it. I know where I need to go.
Yep.
That's the bigger thing.
Learning from your mistakes.
Yeah, for sure. It was good though, and I highly recommend anybody that's into PvP games. Like, the finals is still one of the best first-person shooters, eclectic, fast-paced multiplayer games you can play. It has a really good payment model. Like, it's not fucking gonna scam you out of your money or anything like that. Everything is priced really well. There's no pay to win. It's all, you just play the game and have fun, man. It's good times. Yeah. All right, well, I had a few things that I wanted to talk about before we end off the gaming section here, which one of the things is, what about video games do we hold as in a special place in our hearts? What do you think connects us the most in that aspect? What are the things that you...
I mean, commonality is always the thing that connects humans. When you have a hobby that you can connect with.
Yeah. But I mean, people have things with that, with like video games,
I mean, the multiplayer aspect of a lot of things can bring a lot of commonality. If you're talking individual stuff, it's just what game hits you at the right moment in your life, right? Mm. It's like anything, what album, what movie that hits you. It's like Halo hit me at the right moment when I was in my late teens, and it was wild to play it on a console, and it brings back a lot of memories. I have a lot of good memories of playing that series with friends in co-op mode, But gaming in general, it can be, a fun and revolutionary experience and develop in your development as a person.
Yeah.
Especially if it hits you at the right time. There's a lot of games I played back in the day that were monumental to just what games I'm into now.
Yeah, I mean, I know for me,
Like I definitely take it into an emotional aspect. You know, like with Doom Eternal, which we talked about, it was a trauma thing. Like I was going through some shit.
You use it as a form of therapy.
Yeah.
You know, instead of doing like drugs or something stupid, wasting your life, it came in at a time that kept you busy from wanting to drown yourself in sorrow or madness. You know, and that is an important thing. Any form of entertainment can definitely do that for you. I mean, music for me is one of those things. You know, when I go to shows or when I listen to a band and whatever, that's what draws me in. And gaming can definitely do that if you're stressed out and you need an escape. You know, and I think that's what a lot of games in the modern era are lacking, is that a sense of being escape from reality. You know, it's just, here's a game, it's fun, play it. Get your mind off it.
Yeah.
Whatever you're going through.
Yeah, I mean, you know, when I asked that question to myself and I kind of stopped and looked at it, I was thinking about, you know, like I've talked about these games a lot, you know, like Shadow of the Colossus, Doom Eternal, you know, Half-Life, Army of Two, Gears of War 1 and 2 and 3. You know, all of those games were not just because of the time frame that they were, you know, coming out, but it was just like, it was a lot of those moments where you're playing with your buddies or you're playing by yourself and you're kind of in a simpler time where you're just enjoying yourself and having a good time playing it, you know. Like Shadow of the Colossus is more so in the terms of like that game was such a cool idea to me at the time when I played it, which I think I was like 7 or something when I first played that game. It was like, oh my god, I get to climb on this giant monster and like kill it and fight stuff, and then the actual game really showed me how naive and childlike that was when it was, you know, Shadow of the Colossus being like, yeah, killing these things isn't really a good idea. And then I learned something about it. You know, it taught me a form of morality to it.
Entertainment, you know, and gaming is a form of entertainment, has that ability to teach rule, you know, stuff like that. There's a lot of games that I feel like some games do that and some games don't. Some games are just, you go in, it's like bubblegum, but you're just, you know, you're blowing bubble. You're just like, I'm just gonna let my brain de-stress, you know. And then there's games that are telling a story, and they are trying to tell you, teach you something.
It's like Call of Duty versus like Spec Ops: The Line. You know, like one game is trying to teach you something and have this intricate story, while one is just like, hey, it's combat military. Just shoot guys.
And that goes back to if you're in the mode to competitively fight people like you do in the finals. I mean, that's a form of sports, right?
Yeah.
I mean, it's not physical; it's mental.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why Call of Duty actually has held on for so long, is because that has a huge community.
The competitive scene
of being competitive. You know,
I mean, it kind of sucks now with Call of Duty because it's so different than what it used to be. And I know that they actually just re-released, I think it was like Black Ops 1 and 2 on the PlayStation Store or whatever, and everybody's playing it, enjoying it, and it harkens back to just the simpler times of just, it wasn't about the hard competitiveness of it, right? Like Call of Duty players now complaining about what, like the most things, like slide cancels, all of these fucking crazy things that people do because they have to be the better one, right? Instead of it just being like a bunch of dudes hopping in a lobby together, just fucking playing a game, you know.
Yeah, I mean, that's just not the Call of Duty crowd, though. You know, the Call of Duty crowd is the competitive crowd.
Now,
you know, and
I would say now more than ever.
It's always been.
I remember back in the day, it was. I mean, there was a lot of people that were trying to win, but I mean, like, it wasn't super insane.
It wasn't where it wasn't where it was. I mean, when they started doing competitive Call of Duty, that's when they started catering to that group of people. I mean, Halo was competitive but also fun when you played multiplayer. You know, it harkened back to a different time.
I played a lot of Halo 3 multiplayer.
Yeah, yeah. There was a lot of play, but people took that shit seriously too.
Yeah,
I played a lot of Halo 1, 2, and 3 competitively, and I had to walk away because I got too competitive. And it was like, okay, do I want to live my life or do I want to live all my life in Halo? And I've always chose to go the other direction because, you know, it could be, that form of gaming can be an addictive drug that doesn't help anybody out unless, you know, you have nobody that relies on you.
Yeah, yeah. I mean,
that's why I gravitate towards single player games because, you know, they got a lot amount of time you can play through them and then you can always go back. It almost like a good single player game with a good campaign of story of any kind it's like reading a book, right?
Mm-hmm.
And you can always go back and read the book. And that's why I've always been so much more of a fan of cooperative multiplayer games where you're playing through the story, because you're being kind of driven to do something. It's not as sporadic or wild as multiplayer when it comes to competitive multiplayer, where you're doing deathmatch or team deathmatch or stuff like that. But I've always enjoyed going through the storyline with somebody, and like that's why I was a huge fan of Army of Two. Because that was all. I mean, that game preached you and your buddy.
Yeah,
you and your buddy. You know.
I mean, they had the whole system where you could walk up to your buddy and like give him a fist bump or a handshake, and then you can fucking smack the back of their head, say, "What the fuck are you doing, man?" Or just fun shit. I miss that series, honestly. I do.
Yeah, that is a series that's unfortunately locked in by EA, and it will bitch about it for years.
Yeah, I mean, you brought it up a minute ago, which I think it kind of led into this question of like what do video games today not have that video games used to have back in the day?
Well, they're here still, but they're, like we always say, they're in the smaller studio market.
You brought it up, and it was mostly just the terms of like the realism versus just the fun aspect of it. I mean,
well, it's more. Unfortunately, in my opinion, a lot of big games are transactional based. And
you got a lot amount of time to it, and
it's
money to it.
Well, and they put everything behind a paywall. It really sucks away the joy.
Yeah,
games came out, they were finished, and they obviously had bugs, and they were never fixed because there's no internet. But a lot of games require a day one patch, and if you want this cool suit, you got to pay for it, and you're always logging in online, and some people don't want to be online.
Yeah,
some people want to just log into a game and play it. And I think with relying on trying to pump games out yearly and making them more transactional and more of a subscription-based service, in a sense, a lot of the joy of just enjoying a game for what it is has gone away. And that's why when you get a game that is a single-player experience and you're enjoying it for what it is refreshing. But games nowadays aren't geared that way because there's so much money in the market, and the budgets are so overinflated to pay all these insane salaries and all these, and not coming up with a original idea or coming up with something that's like you haven't seen before. Game developers took a lot more risk three generations ago.
For sure.
And now they're just playing it safe because they know they're charging us too much for games.
Yeah.
And they're charging us too much for games that are broken day one that require... I mean, nothing takes the steam out of your engine more than you've been waiting a year for this game to come out, and you log in, you got to sign in with a certain account, and then you got to fucking wait for it to update for 30 minutes, and then once you get the game, then it puts you through a generic tutorial.
Yeah.
And then the real fun only happens when you buy the best shit from the marketplace, and then you only play online. It's like, dude, I just want to come home and not worry about somebody talking shit to me for 5 seconds.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's a model of it's a Netflix model of they're not necessarily a subscription like you charge every month.
Yeah.
But it takes the fun out of it.
Yeah, I get you. I'd probably agree with a lot of that for sure. Okay. Well, that's it for the game section.
Yeah, let's move on to movies.
Yeah.
I watched a movie this weekend called Undertones.
Yes.
It's a movie that is about two podcasters,
Whoa.
that basically gets sent an email by a anonymous person to listen to these 10 or audio files of a quote-unquote couple that had basically died in their house. And my wife didn't care for it. She thought it was kind of boring. I really took in what it was trying to get pushed through. And I don't want to give away the story. I think it's free on HBO Max. So if anybody feels inclined to watch it, they can always comment and send it to our Instagram page and tell me what they thought. I enjoyed it for what it was. Now, do I think it beats Obsession? I haven't seen Obsession. My wife loved it. You've loved it. Everybody I know loved it. I just think Undertone was a good, scary movie. A horror movie is different. Like there's no gore. There's no gore in this movie. It's got some cool shots.
So suspenseful.
Yeah, it's a supernatural film. But it's kind of long and drawn out. Not long. I don't know what the runtime is. It's probably 2 hours. But some people are. I think this is one of those ones where you like it or you hate it. Like, or you just are like, it's okay. Like, I don't want to say like it's a one or the other. My wife said it was okay.
I have Hokum on my list right now. It's like the next movie that I'm going to watch when I get the opportunity.
It's not on our little notes here, but I did get a chance to watch They Will Kill You.
Okay.
About the one where the girl gets hired for she's a maid that works in a weird building where they take care of people, and some shit happens. It stars the actress that was in Deadpool as Domino.
Okay.
And she gets hired as a maid to basically work at this building, and it's an over-the-top action supernatural movie.
Gotcha.
About Satan worshippers. So
I saw a trailer about it, but I don't think I actually connected it.
I personally thought that movie was okay. I actually enjoyed Undertones better. So my wife also watched that movie with me, and she said it was okay as well. Like, she said that was fun, and in my opinion, that's somebody's version of like that was okay. It was
Did she watch Obsession before that or after all?
She watched Obsession first. She watched it while she was in New York City with her brother. And
I really think that might have thrown the Steam sales out.
No, it's not that. I think whether or not you watch Obsession, I think Obsession is going to be a better movie. I've heard too many people talk about that movie in a positive format. I have not met a person that said it was garbage. And I think it probably is due to the respect it's getting for the amount of money they spent on it and for the kind of movie, because it was filmed very simple. And I thought, and the way, I haven't seen it yet, but I have done, like, I've researched it, and I like that concept. Some of the scariest movies were filmed on a shoestring budget, right? Like, and when you look at it, you go, "Well, it's done for $3 million." Like, yeah, but that was nothing compared to what a blockbuster movie has done for at the time it was released, right? So,
I mean, it's like the emotional impact of -0 to
like if Obsession is a 9.5 out of 10 or a 10 when it comes to something that's new and original. Undertones is a 6 or 7, which means like a 6 and 7 isn't a bad movie.
No, it's just
it's just not. It's you have to appreciate that kind of movie, right?
I kind of change it to instead of saying like 6 or 7, I usually like if it's like a mid film, right? Like, everybody always like, oh, it's mid, right, or whatever.
They Will Kill You was a mid film. Like it had some good actors in it.
It's not great, but it's not bad. It's something I enjoyed, but it's not something I'm going to write home about.
Right, and I think Undertone was a little bit better than that, but not. But a lot of people probably, if they probably feel the same way that you mentioned.
Yeah,
I feel They Will Kill You had a cool concept, but it was just kind of
wishy-washy.
Well, the main protagonist is some kind of badass, and I think we're all kind of done with the John Wick kind of like, oh, she knows martial arts or she knows this and that, and it's like, okay,
Well, I mean, horror's whole, or at least some sort of like scary film. Main thing should make you feel unprepared, uneasy.
Well, since it does deal with like a cult, and it was very, very much like Ready or Not. You know how have you seen Ready or Not? The hide or seek game where the girl gets married into a family and then she has to survive the night, or the family has to basically. If you haven't seen it, sorry, I'm gonna spoil it. Oh, actually, no. If you haven't seen it, maybe I won't spoil it.
I think I know what it is.
Okay, well, Ready or Not's a better film. That's what this movie reminded me of.
With the family, where they find out that the family's like a cannibal.
No. They basically made a pact with the devil, and they have to make a sacrifice.
Oh, okay.
And so the girl marries into the family, and then.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I know which one you're talking about.
It's starring. I don't remember her name. She's actually the niece of Hugo Weaving. Anyways, she was the lead actress in the Babysitter movie that was on Netflix, and that's another good horror film.
We should watch Parents.
Probably, but it was in the same vein as that wild kind of story arc with a cult.
Gotcha.
And and Satan being involved in it and all that shit.
Have you seen the movie The Badlands?
The Badlands?
Or Borderlands? Sorry.
You mean the shitty rendition of the video game?
No, this is an older horror film. It's basically these two guys. They get hired from the church to do this documentary. It's a mockumentary horror found footage film. It's a mockumentary horror film for basically these two guys. One of them's very religious, the other one isn't, and the other one that's not is like a super technical guy. He sets up all the cameras and stuff. And they go to this church where this church got shut down a long time ago, but now it's getting re-brought back up or whatever. But they go into there, and in the church, these dudes are literally like sacrificing orphans to this God that lives in the earth, that is the earth. Yeah, you should check it out. It's a fucking good movie. Okay. Really, really good movie.
Well, have you watched any movies lately?
No. To be honest, no. Most of my stuff that I've got today is a lot of just questions to break down stuff that
some trailers you've seen.
Yeah.
I mean, we all know that like Supergirl came out and it bombed.
Yeah, I've been hearing a lot about that.
And I don't. And again, I don't know why Disney loves doing this, but they made a live adaptation of Moana.
Well, everybody didn't.
But here's the deal, though. Like, there's so much CG in it that
I've heard mostly people complaining about the wig that they got Dwayne fucking wearing.
Well, I'm sure that's one of the worst things you can get. But what I'm getting at is, you could call it live action or live rendition, but it's got so much CG in it that it's basically an animated film, anyways.
That's what I was saying about the How to Train Your Dragon live actions. You know, like it's not live action. It's just.
Speaking of horror, though, I do have something. The Wes Craven estate, his wife, he passed away, has actually come to a deal with Paramount to kind of restart A Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, really?
Now I have my that's my favorite horror dude. And it's kind of like Army of Darkness and Evil Dead. Like, you find a star like Bruce Campbell or Robert Englund that starred as Freddy Krueger. Mm-hmm. You know, they did a reversion of it, or a remake of Nightmare on Elm Street in 2010, and it was absolutely terrible.
Well, at that point, all of the reboots I feel weren't that good.
I thought the Friday the 13th was decent.
Well, I'm just talking about
and the Texas Chainsaw Massacre one was also a decent rendition, but the Freddy one was really bad, and I'm just a little nervous. Like, with the day and age of which Hollywood is set, I'm afraid they're going to change Freddy Krueger to like Frederick Krueger, and it's going to be a child murderer that worked at a fucking a child care center or some bullshit like that, or they'll have some kind of message of him being a weak whatever, and he, whereas the original story arc, Wes Craven did remove it, but he was a murderer and a pedo, they took that out because there was a child murderer and a pedophile in the area in LA where they were at, and they omitted the horrendous part. Child murder is awful, but as a horror movie, that's a lot more acceptable than knowing the other stuff. And they brought that stuff back in the 2010 remake, where he was kind of like, they alluded that he was kind of a touchy-feely, creepy uncle, right? And it just doesn't work, dude. Like, a child murder is scary enough, and that's enough to convey any horrible message, right? And I think that my issue with remakes and my concern with this is that movies back in the day they had respect for the audience. And they allow, one of the best things about a horror movie is they don't have to show the kill. The creepiest shit that you can come up with is in your own head.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of them, they hold your hand the entire time. And I'm afraid, and I'm just holding back my thoughts that this could be cool.
Something I would love to talk about is that aspect, right? Like, because there's a lot of things where, like, I like gore, not like weirdly, but I like gore because I want to be traumatized or want to be, distraught. Or,
you like body horror, for sure.
And it's that kind of thing in my mind is like, where does the limit end? For the most part, right? And and we kind of, I was going to bring it up. We talked about it a bit when we were talking about this before, where I was talking about how me personally, like it when stories tell much darker themes and have much darker tones to them, just in terms of like everything.
Well, that's the issue. One thing I don't think you've done, and it's probably because of your age and what you put as a priority, and I think a lot of people, there's a lot of good horror films that do that. Like, I've been rewatching a lot, like I said, watching Hammer films and watching old school 80s horror that I've never seen before, and they don't hold your hand, and they allow you to think for yourself. And there are images and story arcs in some of these films that are like kind of disturbing. They were edgy at the time, and nowadays we're a little desensitized.
Yeah,
but I have a lot of respect for it, and I think that there's always a line somewhere for every individual person, but that's the great thing about art and film, especially in the horror aspect, because I think that in my opinion, just from movies I've seen, the last good body horror movies are like any of the Terrifiers. I mean, they
Substance is really good.
Yeah, obviously that's another good horror. I didn't care for that film, but I respected it. Like, I wouldn't go back and rewatch it. I'm glad I watched it. Every actor in that movie was fantastic.
Yeah,
it was not a bad movie. It was not. It wasn't my movie.
Yeah,
but is it important? And am I 100% glad it was made and got the accolades it did? Yes. It's kind of like Obsession for me. Like, even if I don't end up liking it, which I doubt I'll hate it. Right? I'm pretty sure I'll appreciate it.
Yeah.
If I didn't like it, like The Substance, if it's good like The Substance in the respect of what it's conveying and the way it was filmed, the way it was written,
it's the same aspect for sure.
Okay, yeah. So I don't know. You ever heard David Cronenberg?
Yeah.
Okay, he does a lot of body horror.
Well,
he did The Fly.
Yeah.
The remake of The Fly, and he has a movie called Videodrome. And it stars James Woods.
Yeah,
that'll fuck you up.
See, like, in my mind, like, I'm thinking about it from like a viewer's aspect, right? Like, I do agree with leaving stuff up for the viewer's imagination. Cause
body horror is different, though.
More scary. Yeah, but I mean, I'm trying to break this down in my head, like, more methodically, because, like, in my brain it's mostly just going like, I like gore, but like, where is the point where you can show gore?
Well, that's why certain movies always stick in your head that you really like, is that you find the style and the balance of it. Like, there's going to be a director and a writer out there.
The Void has good horror and good body horror.
We talk about that movie. That's such a great underrated horror film, and that's a horror film because that is actually horror.
Yeah, it's cosmic horror.
But that movie itself was tastefully done. There were scenes where you're like, "Oh, that's fucked up,"
yeah.
But it wasn't the whole movie. It didn't rely on gore. It had such a better story and action and intensity to that movie that when it got to the nasty body horror, like the scene where the tentacles are coming out of her gut, and the cool creatures at the end, and among other things, it wasn't relying on cheap scares and cheap gore.
Yeah, it was much more thought out.
There's a lot of those. I sound 100 years old, but there's a lot of those drive-in movie theater movies that are like, you just watch a guy murder like 50 people,
gross shit,
and it's like, that was fun, and you go out and it's one of those, like what we said about video games. It's one of those games and movies and entertainment that allows you to just de-stress. It's those kind of movies that when you're cooking dinner, and I know we're talking about horror movies, but like I do it. Yeah, I'll watch a movie that's like okay, but I still appreciate it. But I'll be making dinner at the same time because I'm not.
It's not your focus.
It's not like like Nightmare on Elm Street.
It's not me with The Fifth Element, where every time I watch it, I just watch the fucking movie.
Well, that's a sci-fi spectacle that's really, really good.
Yeah, but my point is that it's one of those movies that, like,
there's movies that demand your time.
Yeah,
and you want it. Like for me, when I watch any Freddy movie, I'm like, except for number 2. When I watch, especially the original, I watch it once a year.
Yeah.
I just shake my head and go, for me, this is my because I love Freddy. I'm like, fuck, that's a great movie. That is a masterpiece in horror.
Yeah.
And
every time I finish, like, The Thing, Fifth Element.
Well, think about living back in those in that era where The Thing came out, it bombed, right? Yeah. And then you have to wait like 3 years for it to make a VHS.
Yeah.
And then like 2 years later, Nightmare on Elm Street comes out. And you got a bunch of like stuff like that. But like there's movies that have gore, there's movies that have scares. That cheap scares are fun depending on the style of movie.
It's a difference between popcorn movies and movies, right? Like there's a
place for everything, right?
There's a lot of movies where you, like you said, like that they demand your time, demand you to like really pay attention to it. I think of movies like Oppenheimer is one of those, right, where you kind of got to pay attention to what's going on because it's not really.
That's a Nolan film. You need a master degree in calculus just to understand it. You know what's funny is give or take my reservations on his newest movie and the fact that he doesn't.
I'll see it. I'll tell you.
And the fact that he doesn't follow the accurate source really drives me nuts because like you were talking about this earlier, that if it's mythology, it doesn't have to be perfect. It's like, no, because mythology...
That's just what the AI said.
I understand.
Okay?
I understand.
And I used the AI because I wanted something that wasn't going to be fucking biased like a
But here's
source.
my overall complaint with that.
Yeah.
Simply the fact that you're erasing a culture of people. I mean, there's a reason why there's all these creepy things in every culture that are similar or not similar.
Yeah.
That, it's their own interpretation. I know that I'm saying that in the fact that I'm getting mad at him for doing the interpretation of the Odyssey, but there was already source material.
The thing basically said that we are valid and 100% right in our...
I don't need Skynet to tell me what...
Look, I wanted validation, okay? I wanted a bit of validation and more of an understanding, so I did my own research, okay? I asked it a bunch of questions and really broke it down in a methodical way for it to tell me, and break it down, which it did. And the main thing that it really said was that, yes, I am right to have my views based on historical accuracy with their proper origins for whatever the myth came from. But there are people that are allowed to have the same thing and take it in their own route.
I understand that if you do it in a way like, say, Lord of the Rings.
Right.
Lord of the Rings, like...
I'm not at all saying that the Odyssey is
J.R.R.
doing it
Tolkien was a huge fan of Norse mythology.
Yeah.
That's why the casting in that series is so white. Because it's a Northern European based, heavily sourced fantasy.
Yeah.
And that's the difference to me between fantasy and myth, is that myth is always based around some kind of, like, it could be a folklore legend of somebody saying they saw something.
At something.
And it may totally be false, which is totally fine. But a fantasy is somebody came up with their head and they wrote it down on paper, right? And with the Odyssey, it is a story, right? But it doesn't need to have somebody else's interpretation of it.
The difference is...
And this, they are allowed to do that. It's freedom of speech, but I don't have to like it.
Is that it's a direct adaptation, right? That they say is just it's their inspiration, but it's named the same thing. The Lord of the Rings was created, and he took pieces and elements from that he enjoyed and made something new with it.
It made something different.
Right.
I mean, he incorporated a lot of Lord of the Rings. I mean, every race in that is essentially Norse mythology or
right.
or
North
European.
About it a lot.
But when you write your own fantasy with it, it's a different story. When Nolan takes something he calls the Odyssey and he completely changes it to a lot of these modern agendas, and that's what he did.
Yeah.
I have a problem with that.
Like, I mean, it even broke that down, too, with the differences between the original Homer story of the characters and the main thing that it said for Odysseus was in the original, he was more... I remember what it said for the movie. His character was more like mournful, sad, and painting.
And he thinks he's a piece of shit the whole time, And whereas the original DC,
I mean, I would think I'm a piece of shit for being gone for 20 years, but it's not my fault,
right?
Poseidon was kind of a dick because, oh my god, his son wanted to eat Odysseus, and his son fucking got his comeuppance because Odysseus was like, "You're not fucking eating me. No, I'm getting the fuck out of here, asshole."
Yep. I don't know if I'll waste 3 hours on.
I'll do it.
Odyssey.
I've put myself through worse.
Yeah,
I mean, dude, I've been watching fucking Rick and Morty this past, fucking months or whatever, and it's like the most brainless TV I've watched. The latest episode was kind of funny, the one that I just watched, but like the rest of it, I don't even pay attention. So I mean, I'll put myself through that pain of watching it. I honestly, I don't think it's going to be terrible. I think it's probably just going to be fine, and I'm just going to walk out of the theaters. I'll still have my same gripes that we've talked about a lot, with the race swaps, the modern agenda storytelling, and the modern speaking will probably bother the fuck out of me, but I'm probably not going to come out of it and be like, I fucking hated that movie. That movie sucked. I'll probably just go out of it and be like, I'll forget about it.
Yep. All right, well, we have gone through and watched kind of a bunch of trailers. And I know I'm jumping the gun on some of our stuff, but this will lead into that one. Did you watch the trailer for Hope yet?
Yeah.
Okay.
We talked about it a little bit, I think, on the last one.
Yeah, I watched the new trailer.
I did too.
And I want to see it bad.
I want to see it. We still need to go see Furious.
I think you can actually buy that on Apple TV right now.
We still have to watch it. Yeah.
Yep. You found a movie and I watched a trailer called The Uprising with Andrew Garfield.
I did, yeah, that one just randomly popped up.
That is actually about a. It's I don't know if it's a
story, right?
I don't know if it's based on a true story. I think the trailer did say that, and you don't have to believe Hollywood.
It's Hollywoodized, anyways.
But it's about a guy who leads an uprising against the king.
Yeah,
and it sounds pretty good. Have you seen?
It's got Andrew Garfield.
Yeah,
and he honestly.
And it's got Tom Holland in it too.
Oh really?
Mm-hmm.
Wow. I like Andrew Garfield, and
I do too.
I want to go see it just because I respect him as an actor.
Yeah, well, he's actually an actor. That's what I like about him. He gets into a role and he becomes that character. Yeah. He's not just like, hey, look at Tom Holland's in every film.
Give him a little more credit. He does put a lot of effort into being Spider-Man.
Right,
it's just that
everything
that's the
else
only thing that sells.
Everything else he does.
The thing. That's the only thing that sells. And what does Hollywood take a look at? They don't take a look at, this is an actor that can do right, because Andrew Garfield produces a lot of the movies that he does, right? He has a part into it, right? He has a passion for doing that. Tom Holland is just getting a paycheck out of it, but he's also being directed that way. The directors are taking a look at him and going, I don't know, just do Tom Holland shit. They're not actually giving him what he's supposed to do.
Right, I understand that, but that's every new actor nowadays.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
That's why I think Andrew Garfield is really kind of cool, because he's different. Have you seen the trailer for Heart of the Beast with Brad Pitt yet?
No.
So the movie is based in Alaska. I don't know if it's a true story, but
is this the one with the apocalypse?
No.
Okay.
So Heart of the Beast is a movie about a war veteran and his dog, who's also a veteran, and they are flying over Alaska in a small plane, and the plane goes down, and they have to survive through the Alaskan wilderness. And it looks really, really good.
Yeah, I don't think I saw it.
You watched the trailer for it? Talk to me about the next podcast. I think it looks really, really good.
I'll definitely check it out.
You did watch the trailer for I Play Rocky, and I think it looks fucking awesome.
Here's my only thing, and I've said this about all of these movies that are... Granted, this one's not a dead person, thankfully. And I have a little bit more respect for that because I believe Sylvester Stallone's playing a big part into this movie because he cares about this, right? I don't like Bohemian Rhapsody, the Michael Jackson movie.
Have you seen the Michael Jackson movie?
Yeah. No. Okay,
so I did hear a YouTuber talk about that movie, and the Rocky films getting the same kind of flack from critics. And what the guy said about the Michael Jackson film and comparatively to this new Rocky film or this documentary about Rocky, how Rocky was started.
Yeah.
Is that it is one of those movies about the American dream, about somebody having a fucking, a driven thought, a passion of what they want, and they get it, and they do whatever they can to get it done.
Yeah.
And some people are being real negative because Sylvester Stallone, he did cheat on his wife. That you see in this movie. Mm. She's not in the movie, but the girl plays her, and they're trying to bring him down because of it. And I think it's just kind of stupid because that's not the point of the film. The point of the film is a guy who wanted to be an actor, who sucked, who didn't want to give up on it and gave it his all and made one of the greatest movies of all time.
Yeah. And
then has been one of the greatest action actors in cinema for fucking 50 years.
For sure.
And what I liked about that movie was it's a reminiscent of a lot of underdog stories.
Well, yeah, that was the biggest thing at the time, too.
And in the 80s, underdog stories were a big thing.
Yeah.
And even in the 90s. And movies nowadays don't have that kind of the underdog feeling.
The thing that I'm mostly talking about isn't necessarily any of that. It's mostly just that I, especially with those, Bohemian Rhapsody.
I had my problem with that too. And
is it the same problem as mine, though?
Let's find out.
I don't like it because it feels weird writing a movie about somebody's life that's dead. Doesn't matter whether or not the movie's good or not, because I thought that the Bohemian Rhapsody was fine. The entire time I watched it, it just felt, to me, it felt weird.
But you have to understand that, the surviving members of Queen were involved in the making of that.
But they're still making a profit off of it. They're making a profit off of somebody else's life, somebody else's death. Whether or not, but
if they're involved and they're part of Queen, they get to say. I'm telling you, dude. When it's done, that movie just wasn't accurate on certain things, like how that song came about.
Yeah,
and they fast tracked a lot of stuff like Hollywood does. But you can't lock out if you say you and me and three other guys are in a band and you die, and
I would personally not want a movie about me.
Right, but if I did a movie in honor of that, and I'm part of that fucking story, that's selfish of you to say no. You don't get to tell any part of your
Well,
story.
if it was a movie about you, though.
No, it's a story about the whole band.
Well, then...
And I think that's just doing a disservice. What does a disservice to those kinds of movies, in my personal opinion, is when they're not historically accurate to what really goes on. Because Freddie Mercury, in real life, when you watch documentaries on his life and how that stuff came along, was far cooler of a guy than what he was portrayed in that. And you know that people had told some of the guys in Queen, let's just change a little bit here, a little bit there, and then eventually
Hollywoodized
it.
Yeah.
Whereas Freddie Mercury was Hollywood altogether.
This might be a bit of a personal thing for me because it just doesn't feel right in my mind. Because I take a look at it as entirely like a profit thing, right? Like it's sure. Is there an element of it that is definitely made for their passion, for the respect for it? Yes. But I only take a look at it.
But profit isn't involved in everything anybody ever does. And unfortunately, if somebody goes, hey, this guy's worth a bunch of money, let's just tell a story about him, yeah, that's shitty. But if there's somebody that's passionate about something and goes, I really thought this person was super influential and he should get his upcomings even more, or she should get her upcomings and tell the story, I don't think there's anything wrong with that.
The other thing is, too, is that they replayed a lot of the moments instead of just...
Well, that's what that movie was. It was basically a 2-hour hot take.
Yeah. Well, I'm meaning like the whole last scene, like for instance, Bohemian Rhapsody first was the entire Live Aid concert. Yeah. You know, and like that was... Like, I understand why they took that approach. I just kind of... I'm very particular about it.
That's kind of a hard one to do because there's so much history.
Yeah.
And you would have to have like a mini-series of like 30 episodes to really go through the Queen's life, and because you can't go somebody's life and go, you can't tell George Washington's life of how he was a general and a president in a 2-hour movie. You only get to tell a small fucking snippet of what, you know. Yeah. I went down the rabbit hole of trailers and remakes, and I don't know, have you ever seen Cliffhanger?
No.
With Sylvester Stallone?
No.
Well, now they're remaking it, and it's with Pierce Brosnan. That's the guy that was James Bond. And
which one? You know, I've never actually watched any of
them. Yeah, GoldenEye.
I've never watched them.
Okay, and the girl, she's in a movie called Pride, Prejudice, and Zombies, and I really like her, but I was like,
is it the main lady?
Yeah.
You talking about the new movie? What?
Cliffhanger.
Just Cliffhanger, nothing else?
I think so. Because the original came out in the 90s with
Lily James?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I just think it's funny because essentially what they're doing is in the original Cliffhanger movie, it's about a rock climber.
And she was also in Baby Driver.
Yeah. So in the original, Sylvester Stallone plays a highly skilled rock climber, and some shit happens. I don't want to ruin it for anybody who hasn't seen it. It's been out for 20, 30 years, but you know,
at that point, you're more than welcome to spoil it.
Well, anyways, it's one of those movies where they're remaking it, and they're basically taking one character and breaking up into two characters. And I'm just like, it's dead on arrival as far as I'm concerned. No shot against the actors, and I don't give a shit if they're, he was her daughter. I'm like, you're too young to be his daughter if it came out in 1994. I'm just like, what the fuck, dude? I'm so tired of these kind of remakes, you know.
Just like replacing. I mean, that's the way I feel about like the whole live action remake bullshit. Like I get into arguments with my dad and my sister all the time with like because they're like, the How to Train Your Dragon live action remake is actually really good, Kayman. Like, you should watch it. I'm like, no, it's right there. I can watch it it's right there. It's
perfect over here as an animation. Yeah.
I don't need it to be in live action. I don't care if it's good or not. It's not something that's really that important to me. I have the original series, and the thing that really frustrates me now is that now they're going to make the second movie live action, and I'm like, fuck off. Who cares? Just go watch the original.
I don't know if the original remake did any good.
It did good.
Okay.
Yeah, How to Train Your Dragon did good in theaters.
Well, Robert Eggers is now making Werewolf.
Yeah, yeah.
I mean, he did Nosferatu. He's done The Northman. He's done The Lighthouse.
Is he going to be in 4x3?
I don't know.
All of the fucking same actors that he always works with. Yep, it's like Christopher Nolan. But I mean, to be fair, he's got the fucking hitter cast. I mean, Willem Dafoe is always a hitter.
I think it looks good. I think that it's going to be...
It's definitely on the way weirder side.
It's going to be based on... I think he likes... Like, he's kind of like... I don't want to say this to piss people off, but he kind of does like a Christopher Nolan, where like when he gets into something like a folklore, like a werewolf like that, he's going to go back to like the original folklore, and he's going to make it as weird as fuck as like when they oh yeah, this is the weird shit. They crawled up trees all weird. It's like, what?
Yeah.
The trailer looked really good. The trailer looks creepy.
I like that the trailer didn't really show too much of anything. Like, I still don't even know if he's actually going to full transform into a werewolf, or it's going to take...
And it looked cool. It looked cool first.
Like, I think it might honestly just be like a human hybrid for the werewolf, but I don't know.
I really hope not.
I kind of want it to be full.
I want it to be full werewolf
because that'd be cool.
I think it'd be really cool because he likes to use practical effects.
I like that it's I was just gonna say I like that the sets and everything look authentic and dirty and grimy to how medieval.
Yeah, medieval.
You notice how like a lot of TV shows that or movies or even do like a medieval theme and everything's all shiny and nice.
Yeah, no, that's not how it was.
Like, yeah,
there was horse shit all over the ground,
dirty everywhere.
Yeah, people's feet were always muddy and they are doing the Hunt for Gollum.
Yeah, Andy Serkis. We were talking about this.
Yeah, they did kind of an announcement trailer for the movie where he talks about it a little bit. Then he's in the motion cap suit and he does a little bit of the Gollum thing, and then they're like, I was kind of like, dude, why even show that? Like, I would, not that I'm like trying to be negative. Like, I'm all for Lord of the Rings, unless it says Ring of Power. I don't know if this is going to be a cash grab movie, because my only concern is we already know...
Well, has Andy Serkis been in any bad cash grabs like that?
No. I'm just worried because the movie itself, we know what the outcome's going to be because this is in between.
Yeah.
But what I am excited for is that they're filming it exactly the same way Peter Jackson filmed the original. Like he even says...
I feel like Andy Serkis had a thing with that because he's one of those actors that really is a filmmaker himself.
Well, he said in that trailer, the one thing I was most interested in is they're filming on the same locations in New Zealand. They're using a lot of the same crew from Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit. Like, that's part excites me.
Yeah.
As long as it's a good combination of using CGI where it's needed. Yeah, exactly, where they need it, and then using a lot of practical where they, where it's required. I'm okay with that. And
which I think they probably will.
And even though we all know the outcome of Gollum, because you watch Lord of the Rings, you know what happens.
Who cares?
I think that universe is one of those things that's like everybody wants to go back to, because
a lot of people keep talking about it, for sure.
Well, Lord of the Rings, the trilogy, is the greatest trilogy I've ever written.
For sure.
And ever filmed, actually.
For sure.
Well, speaking of, not remakes, but bringing up old stuff, I mean, is Marvel making a comeback with Spider-Man and Doomsday? You watched the trailer today for Doomsday.
I did.
Uh-oh. You have a long sigh. Tell me your thoughts.
So, I mean, brand new day. We talked about it on the last one. You asked me if it's going to be a blockbuster, which I think so for sure, because the Tom Holland Spider-Mans haven't led anybody wrong. They've been really good movies, especially the third one. I think the third one's probably still the best. The feeling that I've gotten from this one, from a lot of the trailers, feels kind of like a finality, which is interesting because this is like the beginning of the actual Spider-Man story. But they're kind of taking it in a different approach, in their own kind of way, but taking stuff from the comics and doing it with that way, which I can appreciate. And, when it comes to like Doomsday, the difference is that the Tom Holland Spider-Mans have a level of respect to them. Mr. Plane.
Later, dude.
The Tom Holland Spider-Man films have a respect to them that I feel like a lot of Marvel movies these days don't, right? And the trailer didn't impress me because I don't know the characters that well.
In Doomsday?
Yeah. And that mostly comes down to the fact that, because I've watched a lot of the movies, they all only have one movie to them of like just those characters, right? Like Loki has the TV show, but he might not be in the whole movie, right? Thor has 4, I know that, yeah, but like He's technically supposed to be with the God Killer's daughter, lady, or something. That part's confusing. And then, they brought back Chris Evans for, I think, Captain America, just like they did with Robert Downey Jr. playing Dr. Doom, but it might not be Captain America. I have no idea. And then, all of the other characters, it's I like 5 of them, which was mostly from the Thunderbolts, because I thought that movie that was fun and enjoyable.
I mean, he does pull the hammer from Thor, so it probably is Captain America.
Probably is Captain America, but I'm interested to see how that will go through. But it really didn't impress me in any way, shape, or form.
My only concerns that I've read online so far is the rumor mill says that they're writing the script as they film it.
Yeah.
Now, I have people that say, well, it's the Russo brothers, and they've done nothing but bangers with, past Marvel films.
Yeah, but look what they were given.
Yeah. I mean, but I also read that there's 83 cameos in this film. And they're trying to keep this movie under 3 hours, 2 hours, 45 minutes long. So is this just a cameo fest the whole time?
Well, it's like the other Disney film, Mandalorian and Grogu. That movie was just 3 episodes of the TV show just put on the big screen.
Right.
Nothing happened. Is anything going to happen in this film? Because we already know that Doctor Doom's supposed to be in the Secret Wars. So, here's the thing. Age of Ultron, Avengers 1, Age of Ultron, and then Avengers Infinity War, they had the line up, right? You knew where it was going to go only because that's how it went in the comics, kind of. And you also had that pre-setup to have that payoff with all of the past films, right? There's no past films that build up to this other than one movie, and it came out last year, and that's called The Fantastic Four, that hinted about fucking Doctor Doom coming to the universe. So it's I'm just confused, because it's there's no build-up, there's no payoff, there's no anything.
Yeah, it's just Avengers Doomsday.
It's just, well, I can't even call it Avengers, because the Avengers aren't Avengers. They didn't even avenge.
Yeah.
The Thunderbolts were the new Avengers, and they did an okay job at doing that. I didn't think that movie was bad at all, but they needed another movie to become the Avengers.
So do you think that because Marvel has such a bad track record in this last generation of Phase 4 with the MCU, that they're kind of panicking, throwing everything at the wall right now to see what sticks?
Yes and no. I feel like it's mostly that they're just kind of trying to replicate the Avengers films and how much of a spectacle they were, but they didn't prepare enough for it, so they're just kind of oh fuck, oh shit, okay, well, fuck it, Black Panther, okay, Thunderbolts are in there, okay, Fantastic Four's here, cool, who's the villain, I don't know, do fucking Doctor Doom, okay, yeah, alright, cool.
The trailer looked a lot cooler than how you say it, man. I don't know.
Are you excited for it? Are you? Because you said
no, not really. No, not really. I mean, I want to be excited because I was really appreciative of the 10 years of Marvel films that we did get, and I thought they were all pretty great.
Look, I'm gonna quote a Spider-Man film for you right now. Okay, expect disappointment, and you won't be disappointed.
Right.
And Doctor Doom is my favorite Marvel villain, of all time. He's my guy. That's my dude. And I hope that it comes out and he brings the aura. I feel like Robert Downey Jr. could play a good villain and be very menacing. I hope he doesn't take the helmet off. I really hope he doesn't take the helmet off. But I don't think... my biggest problem is that I don't think that the actual hero cast will be able to hold up the film enough to be able to make it a good film, to be able to make it Infinity War. Infinity War hit so hard because we've lived with these characters for so long that we know them already. They didn't even need to make character introductions or have explanations for these kinds of characters, right? Some people haven't seen... I haven't seen the Black Panther movie, the new one. People haven't seen these characters, and they're already just kind of throwing them into this whole thing. And then that brings up the whole other thing with all of the TV show stuff. What about somebody that hasn't watched the Loki TV show? I haven't seen season 2.
Yeah.
So what's that supposed to do? how are we supposed to go about that, right?
Watch it.
I don't want to. You can suck a cock.
Yeah.
It's a problem, and they set themselves up for it.
I think that what Marvel should have done is in 2019 when they had Endgame, they should have taken a 2 or 3 year hiatus. Everybody should have chilled out.
Yeah.
Let people digest everything and yearn for superhero stuff again.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people
are definitely superheroed out.
They're superheroed out. Like you could see that amongst all the superheroes of all these genres, from DC to other random superhero stuff that has nothing to do with any of these comics.
Yeah.
And people are just like, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, that's definitely the fatigue I've felt lately, too, is like, oh my god, another superhero film. I mean, I had that with Superman, and then I was kind of just forced to watch it because I was at the time writing a script for Superman content for my YouTube channel, but I never finished it.
Right.
But I mean, even then, like, I was just kind of like, man, let's like take a break, like make something new.
Well, I think fatigue is a big deal.
Do something
and I think that people that are excited for this movie, be excited for it.
Yeah, no, I'm not.
But at the same time,
excited for it.
I think that those people are still holding out hope that we're gonna have the golden age like we did.
It's never gonna happen.
It's never gonna happen. They're gonna have to let it die out.
It'd have to be like another decade.
I agree.
Later, until
I agree.
That happens again.
Yeah, you have to let people. Like, if you're coming out with a new fucking superhero movie every year, there's no time to fucking have think about I know I'm bringing up some horror movies, like they get fatigued too when you're on your 7th fucking film.
There was a huge fatigue for horror films.
Yeah. But whereas if you get a film where you have 3 films and they're not making anymore, and you start talking about oh man, remember the fist, blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden you're like, oh, I'm gonna fucking watch those again, and then those are so good movies. And then they come out with a new one that's almost as good or okay.
So, sorry, we're talking about trilogies. Well, we're talking about good films and having in my mind it kind of comes down to having an end to something, right?
Right.
We had the end to the Avengers, right? And I know that there's technically new Avengers that we have, which is fine. There's nothing wrong with that, but they have to be better. They have to be good characters. I wouldn't say better characters because that's already really difficult to do. I go back, and we've talked about this before. I've rewatched Guardians of the Galaxy trilogy a ton of times now. That's the only trilogy I keep going back to. And I know that for you prefer Captain America.
Love Captain America.
Which, dude, Civil War, I've watched that movie a ton of times.
Dude, Winter Soldier.
Dude,
so
Civil War
good.
for me is so much better, in my opinion. But, I mean, that's also probably because I like the incorporation with the Avengers shit in that movie and that divide that it had, for sure. And that's probably why I have that bias, because that...
What, Civil War, you mean?
Yeah. I have that bias towards that with, that shit. But,
But again, that movie was adding on to an already unstable story.
Right, but it's not the Cap to Cap story. The Cap to Cap story is technically Infinity or Endgame, right? With Avengers, it's the same thing with Tony Stark, right? The Guardians trilogy is complete. It has its course and it's kind of set. And I know that Star-Lord's supposed to return later. Who knows when the fuck that's going to happen? Or if we want it to happen, right? Just do something different and better. I think that's really all that it comes down to for me. I'm kind of sick of the whole, let's try to run with what we've got and fucking go for it. Just you've already tried, do something different. It's not working.
Well, it's because, again, it's more of an industry than it is an actual making entertainment.
Yeah.
That's why I don't really care about Marvel movies anymore, because after Endgame, I mean, I didn't even see those last 2 movies in the theater. The last 2 Avenger films.
You didn't see Infinity War and Endgame?
Nope.
Oh, you missed out.
No, I don't give a shit, because I was so fucking done. And they were awesome. They paid off. But maybe partly it's because I didn't want to see it end. That was the thing. I don't want to see the... but I think Marvel shouldn't have made Phase 4. I think Phase 4 should have only been introduced if the storyline of what we're talking about had continued.
Like you said, they should have taken the hiatus and then come back ready and prepared. And, even if Disney could have still done their streaming service thing, they could have given them time to really flesh out these things and understand.
Well, there was no breaks, right? You got Phase 4,
keep going.
and you had all the TV shows.
Just literally next TV show, movie, TV show, TV. Yeah, it was nonstop.
Yeah, you're bombarded with just I don't care anymore.
And it wasn't even necessarily that it was because like it's a bad thing that we were bombarded with a bunch of shit, but like they were bombarded with a bunch of shit, so then the quality went down.
Yep.
And then that became more of a problem. That it was the story writing, then it was the CG, and then it was the character writing, and then it was the characters themselves, and then it was just like this whole fucking thing that just blew them into fucking horse shit. And I mean, like even then too, like Disney's failed because like their movies aren't doing good.
Yep.
And I don't think that's necessarily because of the same problems, because they're not doing the same things that they're doing with Marvel. They're giving their teams time to write this shit. They're just not writing it good.
Yep.
You know. But I don't know. I don't think I haven't watched a Marvel movie in the theaters since Endgame. Actually, no, that's a lie. I watched Spider-Man. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, and the next one that I'm going to see is Spider-Man.
Yep.
Because we're gonna go see that. So.
Yeah, but Spider-Man gives us time. You know, they write it in between.
Yeah.
Well, let's move on to music, huh?
Well, we've got a whole thing here.
Holy crap! What else you got?
We have a ton of shit, man.
Oh my god! I'm jumping the gun here, bud.
I have a bunch of topics here. So,
that's what happens to you last minute shit.
What do we think is important about cinema, and what are some of the things that after we watch the trailers make us want to go to the theaters? So we talked about Doomsday and what makes us not want to watch these movies in theaters.
My issue with trailers nowadays.
Yeah.
Is in 2 minutes and 40 seconds they give you the fucking whole film.
Yeah.
They leave no room for imagination on anything. Like, give me a minute and a half. That's it. Give me
done that perfectly.
Yeah. That's what I'm saying. Like, I have questions.
Yeah.
You know, and that makes me intrigued.
Whalefall did the same thing for me when I saw the trailer. I just I have to know what goes on, and then I read the book, you know. Whereas
with a lot of movies nowadays, they're treating us like we're morons, and they give us the whole
it's dumb down.
I started seeing that like 6, 7, 8 years ago, where we'd watch trailers all the time on like YouTube.
Yeah, and they would tell you like the whole thing.
And we'd watch it, and I go, they fucking told us the whole fucking movie.
They did that with a lot of comedy movies back then too. They would just tell you all of the funniest jokes and like all of the funny scenes, and they would just be like,
and then you go watch it in the theater, and you're like, I've already seen all this.
Ben Stiller's did this new movie where he plays a comedic asshole that fucking farts on this person, and he farts, and then it's like, and then he gets fucking thrown out of high school. What? Yeah, I mean, trailers like that, especially in like the 2000s, did that a lot.
Well, they've just kept that trend for the last 20 years.
I mean, yeah, but I mean,
like, in a world where the world needs a jewel to save the whole planet, and then they go here and they go there and they go here and they say a couple funny jokes and they go here. See it soon.
This summer, 2 girls go to a high school party
with 1 cup.
And then a killer shows up. They're gonna kill her. Yep. Yeah, they did that a whole lot. I don't know what was with that at that time period, but I mean, I'm mostly thinking in the terms with this question is just like you said. There's a lot of trailers that like, you know, try to make you interested by like what's gonna happen. What is this movie? You know. But I'm also thinking in the broader question, like, what's interesting about cinema? And I break down, you know, like, I think about, like, right now, Dune, you know, the cinematography is what's interesting to me. The images that are shown is what's interesting to me.
Well, for a blockbuster, yeah, Dune's on that bigger scale.
Yeah.
For sure. But I really think that, you know, when it comes to movie trailers, I get excited for movies, but I also have a lot of criticism and reservations when they don't think that the common person can think for themselves. Like, I know I call people dumb.
You don't want to feel like they're talking down to you.
I understand that I call people dumb all the time, and that's fine because I'm angry. But at the same time, allow people to have a little bit of imagination with the story you're writing. I feel like when they give you the entire story arc in the trailer, their fucking movie's going to suck.
Right.
And they're just telling you because they're like, well, we told you what it was.
We told you what it was going to be. You decided to go and watch it.
And, you know, a lot of people already know this, but streaming was the death of creative outlet for movies. Because, like, you know, we always talk about old movies, right? And back in the day, you know, when you couldn't just get like I was told by my brother-in-law that the entire movie industry nowadays is a Ponzi scheme.
Yeah.
Essentially, they'll make these movies with these super inflated budgets, and there's nobody held accountable for when the movie fails. Mm-hmm. Because they're just investing it in other things and losing money here and there. Whereas back in the day, you had investors that were let you make your film, and it was their money, and they said, this movie's got to be a fucking blockbuster. Yeah. So you had to have people that were creative, and actually do the work.
Yeah.
Whereas nowadays they can do whatever they want and they can just get away with making slop, and as long as it makes a little bit of profit, the investors don't give a shit.
Yeah.
But they're just basically transferring money back and forth.
It's definitely just a problem with the industry for sure in terms of Hollywood, and it's something that's interesting to think about.
Well, and the other thing that drives me nuts is that movies nowadays, I know we're talking about trailers, but modern movies, they're pushing their agendas on you, and they're trying to force feed you what they want you to like.
Yeah.
Not just create something that they enjoy and hopefully other people can enjoy it. They're taking away the entire the whole point of storytelling.
Yeah.
Tell a good story and people will come to it.
Is that what you would say about movies today feeling different compared to the older movies? Like, what makes these filmmakers kind of things like that?
I don't want to sound like a crotchety old man, because there's a lot of movies in my era that I missed.
Yeah.
That I've gone back because I'm like, I didn't know this movie existed.
Yeah.
And again, I think movies were written for entertainment purposes. I think these people were generally they had love and passion for an idea that they were writing. Mm-hmm. And I think that it either they bombed or they didn't bomb, and they became a cult classic.
Yeah. Or
they were blockbusters.
Yeah.
And nowadays, I think the biggest issues we have is you got Robert Downey Jr. making $100 million a film.
Oh yeah, we didn't even talk about
that. And that's fine, but I'm just saying, like, when you pay an actor fucking $25 million, you're inflating the price of the budget of the film, and then the budget has to have this huge return in an era where they force streaming on everybody.
Yeah. And
people are like, well, why would I go out to the theater? I could just go and sit in front of my big-ass, badass TV with my surround sound and not pay $15, $20 for food and $15 per ticket.
So do you think that making a movie is actually simple, or do you think is it just based on the production and the people to make something matter?
A movie is a village, right?
Yeah.
But a lot of great movies were made on good, decent, respectable budgets. And
I think they also just had to think about that more.
But if you have a movie that has a realistic budget, and it outperforms that budget, because you see movies all the time, like look at Moana, right? It cost them $170 million to make the film.
Yeah.
Or was it $260 million? It's one of the two numbers.
I can look it up.
Yeah. But I think it only made $10 million more than what it was. I think, if I remember correctly, it made $10 million more than the.
They have a popcorn bucket.
I think I saved it right here. Yeah, right here. The budget for Moana was $250 million.
Yeah.
And it made $263 million worldwide and domestically.
Yeesh.
So you think about that. That movie cost $250 million.
Yeah.
For a kid's movie.
Yeah.
Now you imagine if that movie, so just say that movie cost $50 million to make. And it clears $260 million. That movie is a success.
Yeah.
But the problem is, I think budget has a huge fucking problem.
Yeah.
Like, here's Supergirl, $170 million estimated budget. It brought in $190 million. Now, don't forget that half of every ticket sale goes to the theater and half of it goes to the fucking studio. And then you got marketing that's probably double the cost of the...
Yeah, because marketing's not included in the actual budget of the film.
So the movie is a total failure right now when you look at the cost. I think the biggest problem with Hollywood is their hubris. They're pushing messages that nobody cares about.
It's funny because I love it. Like Obsession had no marketing. It was literally all just word of mouth.
But it was word of mouth how movies used to be.
Yeah.
That movie was made... But look at the budget.
Yeah, I know.
Under $1 million. Right?
It was... Wait, what?
Was it under $1 million to make that movie?
Yeah.
Okay. It grossed like $400 million.
Yeah.
Okay. So what does that tell you? If you make your movies in a tight budget where actors aren't making $100 million... I love Robert Downey Jr., but I find it hard for a guy. So did you know in his contract for that $100 million for these films, a private jet is in the contract?
Yeah.
I mean, all these special fringe benefits are given to him. I'm sorry, great on him for negotiating a contract.
Yeah.
But if that movie doesn't make $1.5 billion it's a fucking failure.
Yeah.
No matter how much you love Avengers, no matter how much of a Marvel fan you are.
Yeah.
You know, are you going to spend $1,000 in a month to go see that movie multiple times?
No.
No. And so, budget is a huge deal, and the hubris of not having creative stories. Like look at Obsession, right? Like we're going to beat it over the head in this podcast. That's a pretty cool idea for a fucking. It's kind of simple. Guy uses a supernatural little box, makes a wish, girl goes crazy, right? I know there's more to it than that, but what I'm saying is,
it's a simple premise.
It's a simple premise.
Yeah.
On
one that we've seen done 1,000
right,
times.
and on a shoestring budget is what they would call that.
Yeah.
And it made that much money. That guy's going to be able to direct 40 fucking films now.
Yeah.
So as long as
he's making a new one.
So as long as he doesn't go, well, I need to make the greatest sci-fi spectacle, and it needs to cost $1 billion.
Yeah.
Avatar. and then be mad when it costs $2 billion to do marketing and that, and then it only makes $500 million.
Yeah. I mean, I don't know.
So movies can survive if everybody demanded a fair wage and put these actors and these fucking directors in check.
Mm.
But when it's not your money, you spend however you want.
Yeah, I guess that's fair. Yeah. Okay. Well, I'll save these other points for later. We'll talk about them later because we can break that down. But let's go ahead and talk about music there, Bill.
I got some music news. I got some of my music news from Metal Injection.
Yeah.
When I was doing some research. Mastodon, who I'm not really a fan of, but I respect them for their time they are coming out with a new album.
Although I know that one of the guys died.
Yep, he died on a motorcycle. I think he was under the influence, but I'm not going to slide his name.
He died doing what he loves, okay?
So the new album is called Marrow Deep, and it comes out August 28th. They got a new lineup. Sounds pretty cool. I don't know anything about them. I've actually thought about listening to them now that I kind of they're not as popular.
I don't think I've ever played them.
No. I was shocked to see that Ghost is coming out with a new film, kind of a follow-up to their Right Here, Right Now, which I really enjoyed because I love them.
Because isn't it like
It's the Skeleton Tour.
Yeah, but it's going to be like their last... Right, because we were talking about this before, like this might be like their last tour for a little while.
Well, they did 70 shows, did you know that?
Yeah.
So it's definitely going to be their last concert, but this is just probably footage. As far as as the information I read, it was 2 nights in Mexico, and it was that was what it's filmed. So it's going to have obviously the in between the songs and cool little snippets.
Stuff, yeah.
But it's going to be that tour.
God, imagine doing that for like a whole show. That would be a really fucking exhausting day.
Oh, dude.
Going back and not even getting time to
If you had gotten the chance to go see him with me and Ashley when we went and saw him on the Skeleton Tour, because we were like, oh no, but they're not going to tour anymore for a while. Yeah. If you saw how good their production was and how they did all their stuff, I mean, this movie will probably show that. We could go see that in the theater, but it might be fun.
Well, I mean, that's what I'm saying with the exhaustion, like doing the whole show with the production and everything like that, and then doing for that.
Well, I think that when they film those movies, I don't think those are filmed the same time. I think what they do is they edit those in. Oh. Which makes sense. I think when he runs back to the stage, because he comes out real fast. When you watch them live, and they're say they're in a guitar solo or they're about to ready to end the song and the next song's coming up and he's going to dress into a different outfit, he's gone for 3 or 4 minutes.
Oh, okay.
And then he runs back out. So those are definitely edited in.
Okay.
I was actually surprised to see that Danny Elfman. Anybody who doesn't know who Danny Elfman is, he's a composer for a long time. He did the Batman stuff. He worked really close with Tim Burton. He did Beetlejuice. He did Batman. He's done a lot of cool soundtracks. He actually was in a band in the 80s called Oingo Boingo. Mm-hmm. And they were a pop band, whatever. And it looks like he has a new rock album coming out. And what I thought was fascinating was it's going to be featuring artists from Nine Inch Nails, Death Clock, and A Perfect Circle. Mm-hmm. And Wes Borland and Slash from Guns N' Roses and, of course, Wes Borland, like I just said, from Limp Bizkit, are also working with him on albums because they posted on social media just recently.
I keep seeing a bunch of memes about Slash when he was playing with Michael Jackson. And, he was pissing Michael Jackson off because he was doing, being Slash.
Yep. Oh, you couldn't control him. Some tours coming out this year. Alice Cooper, Slaughter Travail's on tour.
Yeah, I might try to see if I can go see them. I like Slaughter to Prevent.
Trivium's coming to town. We were talking about this earlier, and they're gonna have Orbit Culture and In Flames, Frozen Soul, Frozen Soul, and
we gotta pay attention for Frost.
And Fit for an Autopsy is gonna be there too.
Okay, yeah, we like those guys.
Yeah, I had went down a rabbit hole of one of my favorite alternative bands back in the day was Soundgarden.
Yeah,
and there was apparently, I did not know this. Apparently, there was enough material from Chris Cornell, the great late Chris Cornell, where they can actually finish recording the last Soundgarden album ever. And they're in the studio right now. I don't know, man. Like, I'm excited for it, but I'll be sad too because that band was huge for me back in the 90s. Because while everybody was trying to kill themselves with Nirvana, I liked the edgier sound of Soundgarden, and I loved, like Stone Temple Pilots and stuff like that. I wasn't a big Pearl Jam fan, wasn't a big Alice in Chains guy.
I've been listening to a lot of like 2000s rock stuff.
Like what?
Well, I mean, I've been listening to Interstate Love Song a bunch.
Yeah.
Like now.
That's actually 1984, dude.
Oh wow.
Yeah,
I heard it when I was a kid.
That album, that album is the Purple album's really good. Anyways, that was just weird to me that like it's the three surviving members of Soundgarden. I was just surprised that before he had passed away, that
I feel like that's like some of the most impactful music. Sometimes it's like the ones where it's like, oh, this guy died, but then he released it. Like how like Linkin Park, Chester killed himself, but then now when you go back and listen to the music,
he killed himself by hanging himself. 2 days, two weeks later, Chris Cornell hung himself too, in the same fashion, and they were both about to bring out files on child pedophilia and trafficking in L.A.
Oh my God! Conspiracy.
Yeah.
Time
tinfoil cap's coming on. I mean, Chris Cornell did battle with depression, but nothing where it ever led to him killing himself because it's I don't know, he didn't seem like the guy.
Yeah, I don't know too much, honestly. I've not looked too much into it. I just know that the new lady that they've got or whatever is doing okay for Linkin Park or whatever.
That's the president, the girl from Rush too, the drummer for Rush. I guess she's really badass too. I'm not a huge Rush fan, but
I don't even really care.
I've been seeing some YouTube videos of her playing. It's pretty impressive.
I mean, good for her.
That's what I'm saying. I'm not a Rush fan, like a lot of people, but to step into those shoes of a legend,
for sure,
is what I respect, and the fact that she's doing it, and people are applauding her and giving her all kinds of accolades. I'm like, that's cool.
No ill will towards them and her. Good for her that she's able to do that because that's a feat.
Those are size 24 Shaq shoes, I think.
Yeah, those are some crazy feats to reach, but anything new, I'm not interested.
Right.
I mean, Neil Peart did a lot of important shit in that band, but that also leads into a different discussion.
It's almost like one of those things where we talk about, are they a cover band now,
exactly,
right?
Yeah.
So we'll get on that on the next episode. We'll talk about cover bands for sure.
I had a few questions here for the last segments here. One of the big ones that we've kind of hinted about talking about and we never did was why do we enjoy metal music? Just kind of break that down every bits and pieces for it and get that going. For me, I think you've mentioned it, I think probably to me. I don't know if you mentioned it on the podcast, but I know that you like it in terms of just the grunge, the heaviness, the raw emotions of just the anger, the fuel for anger, shit like that.
Metal is a club, dude. The fans.
I was going to say. Yeah.
The fans are brutal, and the fans are also the kindest people you've ever met when you go to a live show. And the amount of bonding that I've done with people that I know today over heavy metal. Friends that listen to all kinds of bands. I got a good friend that's a huge Metallica fan. He likes all their stuff. And I watched him sweat today because I asked him, "What's your favorite Metallica song?" And he just couldn't answer me. and I only did that because if he were to ask me the same question, I'd be like, "I don't pick between my kids." And I want to joke because I like Metallica too, and when it comes to Metallica, I love their first 5 albums.
Yeah.
And then I really like their last 2 albums. The last 2 albums, Hardwired and 72 Seasons, I fucking love those albums. And he's a diehard fan. But that being said, it's cool to bond with people because, I get to show him some things.
Yeah.
He likes a lot of different shit. And,
the two of us have gone back.
Well, dude, I mean, it's we find stuff we find all these bands, and then we're like, hey, dude, I'm going to a concert. I text you, and you're like, I'm there. and you meet cool people, and you may not remember their names when you leave.
Yeah, I mean, when I was at the Browning concert, like I fucking hung out and headbanged as hard as I could with fucking bunch of people and jumped into the mosh pit with them. Fucking, I was a little tuned up. I'm not gonna lie, but I mean that's the fun of it, you know.
Yeah,
and definitely, I mean, for me, like in terms of just like metal music, right? Like I love the community as a whole. Just like everybody supports each other. Whether there's no metal band out there that goes, oh, I don't like that artist because I don't like their music. You know, they're always...
Well, there is. There's bands like Abbott, and there's guys like Sebastian Bach from Skid Row.
Yeah, but are they fucking massive?
Well, no, but what I'm saying is that the metal community is a judgmental community, but they're also a very loving community. And I've always felt bad when it comes to music because I don't want to be like
a one-trick pony.
Well, put into a box of like he only likes this, but metal has so many subgenres.
Yeah.
And I don't think I'll get to all the subgenres by my lifetime's over. And because I like other music, like I try to like some hip hop, and I try to like some country, and and I obviously love like orchestra music, like classical orchestra music, and I think it's just beautiful. But orchestra music falls in the same line as like heavy metal. It's like it's that same intricate, technical whatever. You're not just some idiot that can play it, right? and metal is so rebellious to me. Like I have that middle finger attitude.
You got that dog in you.
Yeah, and metal has that everywhere.
Yeah.
No matter if they're a band talking about mental health issues or talking about a bad childhood or whatever, like the feeling that metal throws off is that fuck you, I can do this on my own kind of shit.
Yeah.
But we're greater together.
Yeah.
And not a lot of music has that.
Yeah, I mean,
a lot of music is centric. Like pop music is very self-centered.
Yeah, for
my
sure.
boyfriend broke up with me. My girlfriend broke up with me. I'm sad. You're mean. I'm getting my revenge on you. Blah blah blah. You know, like that's Taylor Swift made her fucking billions off that shit. Talking shit about old boyfriends. And like you date her, they break up, then that's her next album. It's like Jesus Christ. Madonna did the same thing. I know people they're like Madonna going to kill me for saying
it's
it.
A year's worth of shit you've done to me. Here's my new album.
Yeah. Whereas like like metal has obviously rivalries, but
Piss Garden and Cookie Cutter.
Yeah, whereas like metal just seems like an exclusive club that anybody can join.
I've talked about it before. Like I like my metal to have epicness to it, but there's also that emotional level for me. Like my favorite song for like Orbit Culture that we've talked about before. Like that song's fucking super emotional for me, and it's a super heavy song. It's a super dark song, but like. It gets me through my day. I push through it afterwards.
But I think a lot of good bands have that kind of stuff.
Yeah.
Like that's why I was thinking about getting into Mastodon, not because of the controversy between him, Brent Hines. That's the guy that passed away.
Yeah.
And what happened with them. But I'd like to hear. I have friends that got into them.
My favorite album from them is Once More Around the Sun, and it mostly comes from. That it came from a video that I watched that has one of their songs in them, but like I went through and I listened to the whole album, and like that whole album really fucking speaks to me. And I went and bought the record vinyl, and I went and bought like a whole poster for it, and it's on my room because it was that impactful to me.
I thought the one that gets a lot of acclaim is Leviathan.
Yeah, that's like their second album.
Okay,
with the fucking white whale.
Yeah,
because it's got Blood and Thunder on it, and that song's fucking banger too.
What kind of... I'm just going to sound so bad for this. I want to get into them, but I don't know what they sound... What's their sound? Like when you listen to them, what are they... Not who they sound like. Are they hard metal? Or are they like a Tool kind of metal? Or
No, they're not crazy technical. That's really hard to describe because I'm not really good at describing what things are.
Okay, let's just do this. By the time we do our next episode, I'll listen to an album.
Okay.
And then we can talk about it.
Okay.
And I'll listen to the one you just suggested you like. I'll start there. And I'll see if I
go.
Yeah.
But my favorite song off of that album is called Ember City, which is near towards the end of the album, and that's like my fucking all-time Mastodon song.
Okay.
But
so I'll give that a listen to, this week or whatever, maybe next week.
They're definitely not technical or anything like that. They're more kind of on the just like heavy metal, fast-paced, just good rhythms, good choruses, fun. Just check them out.
I'll check them out.
I can't explain it that well.
Okay.
But What are some of the things that we take away from artists and their music? Like, what are they trying to say? If they are trying to say anything, like we've talked about, the Orbit Culture and like the Shadowing or Orbit Culture's other songs, and like we talk about a lot of the things that it makes us
Nicholas
feel.
from Orbit Culture obviously has a lot of trauma when it comes to past experiences. Like when I read that trauma about two of his bunkmates in college killing themselves over the stress of college.
Yeah,
you don't get over that shit, and that was one thing that really got to me. I mean, hate him or not, like when you listen to like Metallica, like James Hetfield sung a lot about addiction, and loneliness on the road, and obviously he's been true to his band the whole time. They don't sway. Metallica's kind of their own thing.
Yeah,
but I think when an artist or a band is real, and it could be one fucking song that hooks you, and everything else could be about something else. Mm-hmm. But when a band hooks you with like an emotional thing that like you may not have gone through it, but you gone through something similar, or somebody that's gone through something, that's what brings you into like their genre. Like certain bands hit you at the right time. Like when you become a super fan. Like I said, I was a huge Soundgarden fan. And Chris Cornell was extremely talented, in my opinion, and they were just different from a lot of the alternative rock that was out then.
Yeah,
and a lot of the shit that he sung about was, in my opinion, pivotal to my teenage years.
Yeah,
just to what he was singing about.
I mean, that also leads right into the next section here. Is does music with a message always win over songs that are just lives to be a song? Is it
Depends.
Just like the time and the place thing, or does it?
It's every song has a message.
Right.
Some songs don't. Some people write songs just for goofing and being fun, but most artists take their music seriously. There's something
to get from it.
It's something that they have gone through, or somebody they know has gone through, that they're expressing like a form of therapy, right? And that message will absolutely be forever in that song and never waver.
Yeah.
And depending on people and what they're going through with their lives, like if you've never experienced any kind of loss or experienced anything in your life like monumental, a lot of songs will pass right through you. You might like it for the groove or the guitar or the drums or whatever.
Yeah, something a part of it from sound
but
wise.
when you go through something or you're dealing with something at the time, that's why music is so ageless. Mm-hmm. Like if somebody's battling with some kind of depression, I'm like, dude, check this song out.
Yeah.
And the lyrics will just hit you and you're like, fuck, this person was going through it too.
Fucking behold.
Yeah, and stuff like that. Ow, fucker. And I think that the message, depending on what it is, just it always resonates with people. Just the cool part of getting older is when you see people that are younger than you finally get the message of a song because they're going through it finally. And it's fun because like
it's almost like a reliving of the situation.
Well, it's like like obviously if it's something tragic or sad, it's like, man, I'm sorry, but if it helps you see your tragedy or your struggles through a different light, it's definitely like, okay, cool, they get it.
So. I mean, I only asked that question because, like, I know for me, right, like, I get attached to things for, the timing and place with specific emotions, and it's one of those things that I kind of think about a lot is, like, I try not to hold, I don't want to say bias anymore because it's kind of a word I use a lot, but I don't want to hold something so close and keep that because I don't want to be perceived as, oh, he only likes this because it's his emotions, right? And I understand, right, that like there's nothing wrong with that.
There's nothing wrong with that, and music is, all about that kind of reaction.
Yeah,
I think not seeking out
new music
because it doesn't. A lot of people give up on new music, from other artists.
Yeah,
that they're not into after the age of 35. They just stop listening to it. Like unless that artist comes out with an album, they're not really listening to anything new. They're just listening to all oldies.
Right.
And I think that a lot of music is like, it's kind of like the dragon chasing its tail. It's a cycle. And I think that somebody may be singing something that's similar to another band that came out 30 years ago, but as long as it's original, it may hit you in a different light. It may be hitting you at a different time in your life. And I think that's important. And like, yeah, even though you say, the Shadowing or whatever, or the Behold, right? That's the song right now at your age and the life experiences you've gone through. That's the song that's resonating with you.
Yeah.
But the cool thing is that music doesn't stop there because people don't stop growing.
Right.
and people don't stop. You're going to go into your life, as you get closer to 30, and you're starting experiencing other things.
Mm-hmm.
You're going to start seeing other songs that you maybe might not like back then.
Happened.
And that's why whenever I listen to something, and I'm 46, right?
Yeah.
And you don't like it, I'm like, well, when something happens, it might be a song that resonates with them. So just be patient.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard, like we mentioned a minute ago, like Interstellar Love Song before, but like it didn't like. I don't want to say it didn't hit the same way. It just didn't click right at that time until like recently, where like I'm putting that song on a bunch of times and I'm just like jamming out to it. It's always fascinating to like have all of those different experiences just kind of like slot right in like a puzzle piece.
Yeah. Music is my favorite thing in the world when it comes to just how it resonates with people.
Music is powerful.
Yes,
is the necessary aspect
right.
of it, I feel.
And it's the last bastion of entertainment that isn't fucked up by
greed.
Or it is. Obviously, it's had its heyday, but
there's a level of greed to it for sure.
Yes, but with the new streaming, music's one of the things where streaming services have allowed us to listen to a lot of bands, and then allow ourselves to go out and support those bands.
Yeah.
When they come into town, or if you're in a place where they're going to be. I love that Apple Music has that new update where you look at your one of your bands that you've had in your library forever, and it'll say upcoming concerts.
Yeah,
that is a cool feature.
That's the best part about it. Yeah, for sure.
So, I'm excited because it's always like, man, if they're going to be in town and I can spend $50 on a ticket, I'm going. Right?
Yeah, I definitely have that for a lot of bands.
I would say that if anybody's listening to this and they get this far in the podcast for the music part, don't ever give up on music. Don't just listen to the same shit over and over again. Respect your catalog and never get rid of it, but always add to it.
Yeah.
Don't get stuck in just I only listen to this band, or I listen to this one singer-songwriter, and it's like, you make jokes of you peaked in high school. Don't let music peak you in high school.
Yeah. There's always a good idea to expand out.
Always. So, anyways,
let's go ahead and end this off.
That's it, man. It was good to be back. It was good to have this conversation, and
it's good to be in the sun.
Yeah,
recording outside. I think it didn't go that bad.
Yeah, it was. I think it's a good podcast. Even though I'm tired tonight, and
we're both tired.
Yeah, this was a good.
I got 3 hours of sleep.
Yeah, well, you get to go to bed. So, good night, everybody, and we will see you on the next episode. We are going to try and keep up with the conversations and hot topics, and eventually we'll have a point where we're going to suggest things that we're into. And I hope you guys enjoy the podcast.
Yeah, I mean, as we said before, we'll have at least a minimum of 1 episode every month, and that'll give us enough to talk about. So we'll have stuff to talk about.
Yep.
And that's kind of the whole plan. But we'll see you guys on the next episode.
Check out our Instagram page.
Bill remembers this time.
Yes.
Yeah, check out the Instagram page at what was it the Speakeasy Podcast BK with capital TSPBK.
Yep.
on the handle there. Don't forget to also check out our YouTube channel and subscribe.
Follow us. We're trying to get better at posting.
Get that stuff going so that we can get more comments and more feedback, and also some stuff that we'll bring up on the show.
We're getting some likes on there, but we need some comments.
We need to be able to actually
give us
incorporate
messages.
You guys into the show so that we can bring up some comments and some things.
Exactly.
And we'll be able to have a conversation with you guys. Good shit on remembering that, Bill.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Have a wonderful night.